academic model that emphasizes opportunity.
I actually don't think anybody's gonna be reading off the teleprompter in this one.
Yeah, that's why I'm like actually
I'm
want to
looking
do
at the plot. So Fox
uniquely
News has it kind of like zoomed out and everything. I don't see a teleprompter anymore.
Yeah, I don't see one either. I know when they're just I know when they're just talking by themselves, like they'll usually have one, but it looks like I think it's funny that they request they have Joe Biden check for earpieces.
Hey guys, welcome to another live stream. Today we're watching the
Cam,
political
what?
the
What?
Wait, who requested that Joe Biden be checked for earpieces?
They want
Yeah.
Joe Biden check for earpieces.
Who? The
Huh?
Republicans?
Yes, because they wanted something checked on Trump, so they were like, you know what, if you want that checked on Trump, we're gonna have you check for earpieces. Oh, it's Chris Wallace today? Oh, that's interesting.
Oh shit! 3 minutes left, man. 3 minutes until it starts.
I'm gonna be right back. Take a shot.
Okay, can you turn it up?
There's no audio coming through.
What?
Yeah, there's no audio coming through. What's up, Carter?
Oh, Carter's here?
John Redcorn. Carter,
Oh, Carter.
I'm streaming the debates.
I know, I saw the YouTube
But
video, so I thought I'd jump
But
on.
I wish
it's muted.
Can I like do like a video call and then like put it on like Fox News and shit?
On my computer.
Alright.
See if the audio's working on something else.
No, because YouTube isn't even picking up audio. Could turn captions on.
Taggy's live streaming the debates too.
Yeah, I am.
On YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're live. Oh my God, you're live streaming.
Wait, are you live streaming the Fox News one?
Yeah.
No, he's live streaming us like as we watch the live.
Oh, okay,
stream.
then I think that's okay because we've
That's funny.
changed it.
One person is watching.
Oh
Dude.
God, the Young Turks, hell no.
Carter Stover was in there. He's like, who's the 7?
All right, hey.
So we have Mac,
is working.
Cam, Ryan,
So this is
Our
working.
program, our live program.
Wait, what are you watching? ABC
I'm
News
just-
is working.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't want to get over like
My
the
God.
shit. The mic. What do you want, Will?
Oh, we're watching presidential debate?
Yeah, what's up, Will?
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
don't be like.
I can't wait until Joe Biden forgets where he is.
Oh wait, okay.
We gotta do that drinking game. We gotta do that
I'm putting
drinking game.
something in the chat.
Hard R.
Look
Hey,
in yeah, harder. Look in quality memes.
Oops.
Oh, by the way, Will, I'm live
What
streaming
does
this.
that mean?
Unmute it, unmute it.
It's not muted.
It's
Fox
Oh,
just
you guys,
has an
you
audio.
guys are doing a drinking game? Wow, cringe.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not with alcohol. Oh, there we go.
oh.
Oh,
yes,
there we go, there we go.
Wait, should I do a...
Well, you're an
Should I do-
alcoholic, so whatever you want.
I'm an alcoholic, and Will.
You are, yeah,
Tag is
actually
live
are.
streaming.
Yeah, I'm live streaming this, by the way, Will. Oh, subscribe to WalkThroughIt, SalsaBoi, Corn Pop the Third,
It's not
StewyCombVevo.
SalsaBoi anymore.
Stevie Wonder?
Yo.
You need a real one.
Taggy, it's not SalsaBoi anymore.
What is it?
Just.
Oh, it starts at 1 minute. Hold on, guys.
It starts now.
Wait, what is it?
Everybody, shush, shush,
Shut up,
shush,
Mac.
shush.
You just go to your sub feed.
Alright.
You guys want to play
It's
the
Britney,
Biden
bitch.
bingo?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Biden bingo.
You're looking quality memes.
Quality memes. Can I check it on live stream and will it be fine?
Yeah, it'll be fine,
Check.
dude.
No, it's literally just
you'll be
Joe
drunk
Biden.
before the first like 5 minutes.
It's just Joe Biden.
Sip, if Joe Biden loses train of thought mid-sentence, Trump laughs at Biden. Biden misquotes COVID stats. Trump says huge. Trump's hair flutters. Every time Biden starts a sentence with look or listen. Every time Biden says an incorrect gun fact.
I can't wait.
One shot if Biden references being VP or Obama.
Wait, did the audio cut out? Wait, guys. Shh.
The audio cut out. Yeah.
Biden references taking
No, it
Biden.
didn't. Just nobody's talking.
The Fox News channel.
Biden forgets
Is it
more.
all the way up?
Finish your drink if
Yes,
Biden forgets
it
where he is.
Oh my god.
Turn off the stream volume, idiot.
Will, can you shut up? Holy
I'm
crap!
telling them to turn up the stream volume. Right
Oh, that
click.
was an accident.
My stream
That was an
button.
accident. It was an accident. It was an accident. Stop crying. Please stop crying.
No one said anything, bitch baby.
We know you did.
Nah, but
How do you?
How are you guys debating before the debate
No,
even
right.
starts?
Oh,
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
You're
can
fine.
you just can you put it full screen? Goddamn.
Shut up! Oh my god, you're annoying.
Will, why do you think we never invite you to
What are
anything?
you doing?
I'm annoying you. Will, get the fascist out of the chat.
Oh, it's starting.
I looked at the red banners and it's got.
Dude,
you know how
stop
it's
it!
got-
The presidential debate's about to come on.
Will,
Yeah.
may I reference your build, please?
You may.
I wonder
you.
if they bring up monarchies in this presidential debate.
Probably not.
Man, that'd be funny.
Will,
Yo,
How
what are
quirky.
they gonna talk about the Archduke?
Oh, by the way, guys. By the way, stream. Cam is gonna be the one talking the entire time because I have no idea what's going on. I'm just here to drink and laugh.
Ow, you take US Gov.
I take
I'm
US
here-
Gov because I have to take the class.
You
I'm
take-
here to make fun of presidential people because it's hilarious.
Alright, but no,
Hey,
hold on.
make fun of
Let's actually-
any single European dictator and he will cry.
Remember that George the Seventh guy?
Hey, check out the guy in the
call
raft.
Hitler a fascist, and he's like, no, you're misrepresenting
Is
him.
that,
You're
is
missing
that
the
Biden?
point.
Wait, guys, is that Biden walking down the stairs? Hold up.
Why are 3
What
people
the fuck
watching
are you
this?
talking about, man? Are you on drugs?
Hey, welcome to the stream. Consider leaving a like and subscribe.
Consider leaving
All right,
the
out of
drugs.
everybody here, I think we can all agree that I'm the most political.
Yeah.
Then
No,
Will.
No, I can see the stairs.
No.
Yeah, I'm second place. I'm swag. Oh,
I'm just here to make content.
I'm here to make
I'm
jokes.
surprised your stream wasn't kicked off the internet.
He's got 2 mics because it's just built different.
It's built.
2 mics. People want to hear him twice.
Is that a little darky mask in the background? That black girl playing?
No, it says Black Lives Matter, retard.
Oh. My bad.
Maybe
Good
it's
evening
Pete.
from the
Hey,
Health
shush, shush, shush,
Education
shush.
Campus of Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic. I'm
Here we
Chris
go.
Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome
we
you
go.
to the first of the 2020 presidential debates between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. This debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential
God,
Debates.
Donald Trump was
The
president.
commission has designed the format of 6 roughly 15-minute segments with 2-minute answers from each candidate to the first question, then open discussion for the rest of each segment. Both campaigns have agreed to these rules. For the record, I decided the topics and the questions in each topic. I can assure you, none of the questions has been shared with the commission or the 2
Oh, what the hell's
candidates.
a nasty ass?
This debate is being conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Cleveland Clinic,
Simpson.
which is
That's all
serving
I
as
need.
the
Simpsons?
national security
I know who that
advisor
is.
to the commission for
Guys,
both
don't forget I'm
debates.
streaming.
Out of precaution, both
Don't
campaigns
look at
have agreed
nasty
that
ass. I had to make
candidates
it on the
will
NFL.
not shake hands at the beginning of tonight's debate.
What?
The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No
That's what I
cheers,
came here to
no
see.
boos, or other interruptions, so we, and more
Don't be
importantly
George.
you,
Shit.
can focus on what the candidates have to say. No noise except right now, as we welcome the Republican nominee, President Trump, and the Democratic nominee, Vice President Biden.
Let's go! Biden! Yeah!
Put each other in front of a
There he is.
Man.
Himself, the man, myth, the legend, man. Is there?
It's Biden.
Go! He put up the
Yeah.
fist. Power to the
Yo,
people.
we got middle-aged white guy 1 and middle-aged white guy 2.
Middle age? What do you
What do you
mean?
mean
I
middle
was about to say. I was about
You're
to.
You mean
Brother, they're like
dinosaur.
3/4 of the way through their life.
Gentlemen,
3/4, you're giving
we
them too much
are
credit.
waiting
Of their former
for
self.
this
Okay,
night,
shush,
so
shush,
let's
shush,
get
shush, shush.
going.
I don't
Our
listen.
first subject is the Supreme Court. President Trump, you nominated Amy Coney Barrett over the weekend to succeed the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the court. You say the Constitution is clear about your obligation and the Senate's to consider a nominee to the court. Vice President Biden, you say that this is an effort by the president and Republicans to jam through an appointment and what you call an abuse of power. My first question to both of you tonight, why are you right in the argument you make and your opponent wrong, and where do you think a Justice Barrett would take the court? President Trump, in this first segment, you go first. 2 minutes.
I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences. We have the Senate. We have
Oh,
the
I like
White
how he
House,
said that too.
and
Obama said that.
we have a phenomenal nominee, respected by all, top academic.
Don't know about that one, Chief.
Good in every way. Good in every way. In fact, some of her biggest endorsers are very liberal people from Notre Dame and other places. So I think she's going to be fantastic. We have plenty of time, even if we did it after the election itself. I have a lot of
No, he
time
definitely
after the
did say
election, as you know. So I think that she will be outstanding.
I just looked it
She's
up and
going to
CNN was
be
like, he regrets it.
as good as anybody that has served on that court. We really feel
Biden
that.
looks furious.
We have a professor at Notre Dame, highly respected by all, said she's the single greatest student he's ever had. He's been a professor for a long time at a great school. And we won the election, and therefore we have the right to choose her. And very few people knowingly would say otherwise. And by the way, the Democrats, they wouldn't even think about not doing it. If they had, the only difference is they're trying to do it faster. There's no way they would give it up. They had Merrick Garland, but the problem is they didn't have the election, so they were stopped. And probably that would happen in reverse also. Definitely would happen in reverse. So
What's
we
up,
won the
Joker?
election,
Joker,
and we have
watching
the
the
right to
political
We're
do it.
watching politics.
President
Get on,
Trump,
nerd.
thank you. Same
That's
question to you,
cringe.
Vice President Biden. You have
Here we go.
Well, first of all,
Nope.
thank you for doing this. And look forward to this, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Joe.
The American people have a right to have a say in who the Supreme Court nominee is. And that say occurs when they vote for a United States senators and when they vote for the President of the United States. They're not going to get that chance now because we're in the middle of an election already. The election has already started. Tens of thousands of people have already voted. And so the thing that should happen is we should wait. We should wait and see what the outcome of this election is. Because that's the only way the American people get to express their view is by who they elect as president and who they elect as vice president. Now, what's at stake here is the president's made it clear he wants to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's been running
just
on
switch
that,
topics.
he ran on that, and he's been governing on that. He's in the Supreme Court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Oh,
Which,
Oh,
will
wait a
strip
minute. It's
20
kinda-
million people
Hold up
How
now.
is he
from
talking this
having
clearly, bruh? I've
insurance,
never heard him
health
ever talk
insurance.
this clearly.
He took his pills.
That goes into court.
Bro, he probably he's gonna go home and like die because he overdosed on mental cognitive pills or whatever he's taking.
She's like a very fine person. But she's really
Remember, I'm
It's secretly
streaming.
an actor.
which is her right, that she thinks that the Affordable Care Act is not constitutional. The other thing that's on the court,
Well
and
spoken.
if it's struck down, what
I have
happens?
no idea what he said. I was
Women's
thinking.
rights are fundamentally changed. Once again,
So
a
that
woman could
Barrett
be
said
held
the
with
Affordable
money
Care Act is
because she has a
unconstitutional.
pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man did. Get.
I hope so.
And that ended when we in fact passed the Affordable Care Act. And there's 100 million people who have
Dude, my stream
pre-existing
chat's
conditions,
betting against each other.
and they'll be taken away as well. Those pre-existing conditions, the insurance companies are going to love this. And so it's just not appropriate to do this before this election.
Why?
If he wins the election and the Senate is Democrat or Republican, then he goes forward. If not, we should wait until February. All right.
There aren't 100 million people with pre-existing conditions. As far as a say is concerned, the people already had their say. Okay, Justice Ginsburg said very powerfully, very strongly,
Okay.
at some point, 10 years ago or so, she said the president and the Senate is elected for a period of time, but a president's elected for 4 years. We're not elected for 3 years. I'm not elected for 3 years. So we have the Senate, we have a president.
It's elected to the next
During
election.
that period of time,
Cut somebody off.
during that period of time, we have an opening. I'm not elected for 3 years. I'm elected for 4 years. And
Elections
100
already
million
started.
people, Joe, The 100 million people is totally.
Cut him off again.
Wait, what just happened?
Cut him off twice.
Joe Biden tried to cut off Trump and he just goes, Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Joe.
Trump ego tiger.
We're now into, gentlemen, we're now into open discussion.
Open discussion.
Open discussion. Yes, I agree. Go ahead, Vice President.
Number one, he knows that
Turning off the stupid.
what I proposed is that we expand Obamacare and we increase it. We do not wipe any. And one of the big debates we had with 23 of my colleagues trying to win the nomination that I won were saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance. They can. They do. They will under my proposal.
It's not what you've said,
But
and it's not what
that
your
is-
party has said.
that is simply
Your party
a lie.
doesn't say it. Your party
is
wants to
simple.
go socialist
My
medicine.
party is
And
being
socialist
right
healthcare.
now. I am the
party is
To
him.
dominate you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now.
Democratic
The
Party.
platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is what I, in fact, approved of. What I approved of. Now here's the deal. The deal is that it's going to wipe out pre-existing conditions. And by the way,
The drink.
the 20, the
Drink,
200,
Drink.
the 200,000 people that have died on his watch. How many of those?
Don't we take a drink if somebody gets cut off?
7 million people.
What is he
that
talking
contract
about?
COVID. What does it
Drink
mean
every
for
What
day.
is he
them
talking
going
about?
forward if you
You
strike
have a
down
higher chance
the
of getting.
Affordable Care
You have
Act?
a less
Joe,
of a
you've
chance
had
of getting alcohol poisoning if you take a
308,000
drink that
military
something
people
blank.
dying because you couldn't provide them proper health care in the military.
Following
So
what
don't
they-
tell
what
me
that
I'm
that.
happy
thing
to
did.
talk about.
And if you were
Carter, you should join the general chat.
It would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. You didn't want me to ban China, which was heavily infected. You didn't
there you
want me
go.
to
There's
ban
China.
There's China.
Another one.
Europe, which
No,
was heavily
Mr. President,
infected. You would have
Mr.
been much
President,
later, Joe.
Mr.
Much
President,
later.
Mr.
You're
President,
talking about 2 million people.
You're not going to be able
President,
to
as
shut
the
him up.
moderator,
You're not gonna be able to shut him
we'll
up.
talk about COVID in the next segment, but go ahead.
Let me finish. The point is that the president also is opposed to Roe v. Wade. That's
Oh,
on the
we're
ballot
getting into
as
a different
well
topic
in the
now.
court-
Sweet.
In the court. And so
Thank-
that's
Good
on
job,
the
Joe.
state.
At least Joe Biden can remember his
So the election
topics.
is all
You don't
ready
know
to
it's on
go.
the ballot. Why is it on the ballot?
Because
Why is it
you
on the
said
ballot? It's not on the ballot.
It's on the ballot in the
I
court.
don't think so.
In the court. Well,
There's nothing happening there.
Donald,
Dude,
we-
And
what
you
if
don't
you
know her
shut your
view
fucking
on
mouth?
Roe v. Wade.
I
You
don't
her
know.
view.
Well, all right, let's
More-
let's talk.
More Trump speaks, the more he's going to
We got
switch
a lot
topics.
to unpack here, gentlemen. We got a lot of time, so on health care, and then we'll come back to Roe v. Wade.
all right.
Mr. President, the Supreme Court will hear a case a
God, he
week
looks
after
pissed.
the election.
Dude,
in
he's
which the
mauling.
Trump administration, along
He is.
with
Look how he
18
scrunches his
state
eyebrows
attorneys
up. He looks
general
pissed.
Are seeking to
True.
overturn
Dude, if he keeps scrunching up, his, you know, his makeup might come off.
Because they want to give good health care.
If I may ask my question, sir.
I think Trump's the only person I've seen who wears more makeup than Juliet does.
To repeal and
That's
replace
facts. Well, it's not
Obamacare,
makeup.
but you
It's
have
a
never in these 4
terrible
years
spray tan.
come up with a
Spray
plan, a comprehensive plan
Course
to
I have.
replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
course I
I
have.
got rid of the
when
individual
I finish, I'm gonna
mandate.
give you an
Excuse me.
opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a
That
big
is not a
chunk of
comprehensive plan.
that
Is he arguing with the commentator?
Yes.
You're not supposed to do that.
Worst
Not
part of
me.
Obama.
Let me ask my question.
Bro, can you like?
Joe.
What the?
I
Individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of
I'd
it.
like
And
to-
we will
President,
protect
Shut up.
It's a political debate, not a political speech.
You, in the course of these 4 years, have never come up with a comprehensive plan.
What's up, Carter?
to replace Obamacare, and just this last Thursday, you
Hey, thank you for tuning in
signed
for the
a
stream,
largely
Carter.
symbolic executive order to protect people with pre-existing conditions 5 days before this debate. So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Well, first of all, I
Why
guess I'm
is he
debating
debating
you,
Donald
not him, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
surprised. Let me just tell you something. There's nothing symbolic. I'm cutting drug prices. I'm going with favored nations, which no president has the courage to do because you're going against big pharma. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody
Dang, all right,
So
calm
we're cutting
down.
health care.
What about
All of the things that we've done,
conditions?
insulin, I'll give you an example, insulin. It's going to, it is destroying families.
Oh, this is
destroying
actually
people
true though.
because
We saw about
we're getting
insulin.
it for so cheap. It's like water. You want to know the truth? So cheap. Take a look at all of the drugs that what we're doing, prescription drug prices. We're going to allow our governors now to go to other countries to buy drugs because they pay just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
Let
but
me
this
ask
is
you about,
big.
let me,
This
you'll
is
be
big
happy.
stuff.
Oh my God,
You'll be
shut
happy.
up,
I'm
bro.
about to pick up on one of your points to
Welcome
ask
to
the
America.
Vice President, which is he points out that you would like to add
Trump's
a
way too
public
eager to
option
just, like,
to
debate somebody.
Obamacare.
He's way too
That's
eager to
the
prove
argument that he
himself.
makes.
That's what he's trying to
Yeah,
do.
he just needs to calm down because he's obviously gonna beat Joe Biden in an argument. He just needs to like, chill out.
Yeah, Joe Biden's not gonna try like push his point as much as Trump is.
He's just gonna mumble the same thing 3 times and be like, I'm done.
A government takeover of health care.
It does not. It's only for those people who are so poor they qualify for Medicaid. They can get that free in most states, except governors who want to deny people who are poor Medicaid. Anyone who qualifies for Medicare would, Medicaid would automatically be enrolled in the public option. The vast majority of the American people would still not be in that option. Number one.
Joe, you agreed with Bernie Sanders, who's far left, on the manifesto, we call it, and that gives you socialized medicine.
Look, here, I'm not going to listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
How much?
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days early. You would have lost.
All he knows how to do is
for Tuesday. You got very lucky.
Here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well.
This is just a political shitpost. It's not even like.
Here's the deal.
It is.
The fact is that everything he's saying so far.
Literally Trump and Biden see who
I'm
can
not here to
piss
call
apart
out lies.
this.
Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want
I want to
more
make sure.
My boy Trump needs to chill
He
out.
didn't know how
Holy
to do
shit.
that. He,
Oh
you know,
Biden's out of it.
You
wrong
laugh
guy,
at
the
the
wrong night at the wrong time.
Hi, Lobo.
You agreed with
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders
Who else
and the
agrees with
whole
you?
idea-
Trying to
let him
intentionally
speak.
There is no manifesto, number
Please
one.
let him speak, Mr.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
He just
I-
lost the left.
Lost the left.
He just lost the left.
Agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan.
Folks,
Absolutely
folks,
agreed
do
to.
you have any
Under that
idea?
Trump,
what
let him
the
speak,
socialized
dude.
They call it
Mr.
Do you
Medicare
have
for
any?
President. Socialized medicine.
Mr.
Well, I tell
President,
you what, he is not for any help for people needing health care. Because he in fact already has cost 10 million people their health care that they had from their employers because of his recession. Number one. Number two, there are 20 million people getting health care through Obamacare now that he wants to take it away. He won't ever look you in the eye and say that's what he wants to do. Take it away.
No, I want to give
Number
them better
three.
health care at a much lower price
But,
because
and by the way,
Obamacare
he
is
doesn't know
no
how.
good.
He doesn't know how
I've
to do
already
that.
fixed it.
He has never
I've
offered
already
a
fixed
plan.
it to an extent.
He has never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't.
gentlemen, you
is
realize
no
if you're
good,
both
Joe.
speaking at the
It's no
same
good,
time,
and it's too expensive.
let the president. Go ahead, sir.
Obamacare.
Dude,
is
this
no
guy's
good.
having a
We
laugh,
made
dude.
it better, and I had a choice to make very early on. We took away the individual mandate. We guarantee pre-existing
I had to
conditions,
get
but
away
took
from
away
that
the
for a minute. I
individual
was kinda getting
mandate.
cringe.
This guy cringing.
I went downstairs to try and get away from that political debate because I was actually cringing so hard. I was like physically sick.
You missed it. Joe Biden just roasted the
If I
shit
run
out
it
of
badly, they'll probably
What?
blame him, but they'll blame me. But more importantly, I want to help people.
He actually grew
How?
some, you
I
know.
said, you got to run it so well. And I just had a meeting with them. They said the problem is no matter how well you run Obamacare, it's a disaster. It's too expensive, premiums are too high, and it doesn't work. So we do want to get rid of it. Chris, we want to get rid of it.
I understand it, sir, but I have to give you roughly equal time.
Good.
Please let the vice president talk.
Good.
He has no plan for health care.
course we do.
Please.
He
He
sends
just gave a
out
plan.
wishful thinking. He
It is
has
true.
Executive orders that have no power. He hasn't lowered drug costs for anybody. He's been promising a health care plan since he got elected. He has none, like almost everything else he talks about. He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. And the fact is, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right.
He's
I have one final question for you.
Sure.
Okay, Bernie, go
Mr.
off,
Vice
I guess.
President. If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now. Make sure you, in fact, let people know you're senators. I'm not going to answer the question because the question is,
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Bill?
This is so right.
Gentlemen, I think
This
we've
is
ended
so
we have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
Someone has to actually be the man here.
Keep yapping, man.
The people understand.
Yikes!
Done nothing. They understand.
All right. The second subject.
Trump is actually like shooting himself in the foot. Like I'm optimistic for him, but he's actually shooting himself in the foot.
Let's try to be serious about it. We have had more than 7 million cases of coronavirus in the United States, and more than 200,000 people have died. Even after we produce a vaccine, experts say that it could be months or even years before we come back to anything approaching normal. My question for both of you is,
7.2
based
million.
on what you have said and done so far, and what you have said you would do starting in 2021, why should the American people trust you more than your opponent to deal with this public health crisis going forward? In this case, the question goes to you first, sir. 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Good luck.
Good luck.
200,000 dead. As you said, over 7 million infected in the United States. We, in fact, have 4% of the world's population, 20% of the deaths. 40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. In addition to that, about between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. When he was presented with that number, he said, "It is what it is." Well,
It is what it is.
It does be
Based
what it
off the 7 million and
That's why
200,000 number, I did the math.
President has
0.028% of the infected population dies from it.
That's still 200,000 is still a big number.
It's well, it sounds big, but in the scope of things, I mean, it's big, but
in the scope of things,
purport, it's not that
he said he
huge.
didn't tell us or
It's a little
give
bit less.
It's not. It's not.
because he didn't want to panic. You don't panic.
It's not
He
the
panicked.
same as
In
either.
addition
Yeah,
to
it
that,
is not the
what
same.
did
More,
he do?
it's more
He
than
went in
one.
and he,
I don't know
we
the
were
name of
insisting
the
that the Chinese, the
Yes,
people we had on the ground in China
Not
should
more
be
than
able to go to Wuhan.
It's
and determine for
0.03
themselves how
about.
dangerous this was. He did not even ask Xi to do that. He told us what a great job Xi was doing. He said we owe him a debt of gratitude for being so transparent with us. And what did he do then? He then did nothing. He waited and waited and waited. He still doesn't have a plan. I laid out
Sir,
back
it's
in
his 2
March
minutes.
exactly what we should be doing. And I laid out again in July what we should be doing.
Trump,
We
it's
should be providing all
uninterrupted.
the protective gear possible. We should be
understand about that?
providing the money, the houses.
What does uninterrupted mean
in order
again?
to be able to go out
Yeah, we're
and get
still looking.
people the help they need to keep their businesses open schools. It costs a lot of money. You should get out of your bunker and get out of the sand trap and get in your golf course and go in the Oval Office and bring together the Democrats and Republicans and fund what needs to be done now to save lives.
Bruh,
So
they
if we
do.
would have listened
Wait,
to
you
you,
have 2 minutes, sir.
if we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have
Oh
never
my
happened.
God.
Drink,
They
drink. He said
stopped it
China.
from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way,
Said
when
it
you
twice.
talk about numbers, you don't know how
All
many
you
people
can do
died
is
in
blame
China.
China.
You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should
unrelated
have
to
closed
your
our country.
COVID. No, just
Wait a
start.
minute.
Just 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of you Democrat governors said President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a
Hey
look.
guys, I'm gonna
The
animate
governors
a
said I
TikTok.
did a
What's
phenomenal
poppin'?
job. Most of them said that. In fact,
Iowa.
people that would not be necessarily on my side.
When did he close
said
the
that.
state?
President Trump did a phenomenal job.
Do you know when he closed
We did.
the US?
We got the gowns, we got the masks.
Was it?
We made
Do you
the
know when he closed the
ventilators. You
US?
wouldn't have made ventilators. And now
It
we're
was a
weeks
few
away
weeks
from a
after it was
vaccine.
announced. It
We're
was
doing
pretty quick.
therapeutics already. fewer people.
I mean,
Oh,
it
well,
could have
it's-
been quicker, but I mean,
It peaked
you
at
know,
like
like,
July
you know, like,
17th, but then like it's
The only thing I
slowly
haven't done a
declining.
good job, and that's because of the fake
What?
news.
It's slow.
No matter
The
what you
cases
say
are
to 'em, they
declining.
give you
The
bad
fake
press
news?
on it. It's just
Oh, I
fake
know,
news.
and-
They give you good press. They give me bad press because that's the way it is, unfortunately. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You
I
don't
just
have it in
realized
your
how
blood. You
orange
could have never
Trump
done
is.
that job.
Oh my god.
How do you just realize
I know how
this?
to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you didn't do
done.
very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was
A
no
very-
economic recession.
Sir, you made a
Totally
point.
different
There was
diseases.
no
recession.
You made a point. Let him answer.
And there was no one, we didn't shut down the economy. This is his economy he shut down. The reason it's shut
Doesn't
down
own
is
the
because,
economy.
look, you
Yeah.
folks at home, how
Had to
many of you
fix
get
it
up this
before
morning
it all happened.
and had an empty chair at the kitchen table because someone died of COVID?
Not me.
How many
Why
of
are-
you were in a
okay, so
situation
stand
where
on the
you
graves
lost
of
your
people who
mom
died
or
and
dad and you
brainwashed
couldn't even speak to
Yeah.
them,
Feel
had
bad.
a nurse holding a phone up so you could in fact say goodbye?
You would have lost far
How
more
many
people.
people?
Far
That is-
more people.
And
You would have been
And by the way,
months late.
your own
You were
his
months behind me, Joe.
own CDC director says we could lose as many as another 200,000 people between now and the end of the year. And he held up. He said, if we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers. Just a mask. And by the way, in terms of the whole notion of a vaccine, we're for a vaccine, but I don't trust him at all, nor do you. I know you don't. What we trust is a scientist.
You don't
we trust Dr.
Johnson
Fauci.
& Johnson, Pfizer?
And
Okay,
by the way,
gentlemen,
and then-
let me move on to questions about the future because you both have touched on two of the questions. I'm
Why they
gonna
just
ask.
cut off my man Biden like that though?
Focusing on the future first, President Trump.
I wanted to hear
you
it.
have
I want to hear him
repeatedly
actually say something.
Either contradicted or been at odds with some of your government's own top scientists. The week before last, the head of the Centers for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield, said it would be summer before the vaccine would become generally available to the public. You said that he was confused and mistaken. Those were your two words. But Dr. Slowy, the head of your Operation Warp Speed, has said exactly the same thing. Are they both wrong?
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives. It is a very political thing. I've spoken to Pfizer. I've spoken to all of the people that you have to speak to. We have great Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and others. They can go faster than that by a lot. Become very political because the left, or I don't know if
The
I call it
left.
I don't know what I
The
call it.
head of your Operation Warp Speed, Dr. Slowy.
I disagree with him. Yeah, no, I disagree with both of them. And he didn't say that. He said it could be there, but it could also be much sooner. I had him in my office 2 days ago.
He talked about the summer, sir, before it's generally
Why-
available. Just like
He said
Dr.
it's a
Redfield.
possibility
So-
that we'll have the answer before November 1st. It could also
I'm
be
talking about when
after
it's
that.
generally available. not when it
Well,
will
we're
be.
going to deliver it right away. We have the military all set up logistically. They're
I
all
just
set
got
up.
that.
We have our military that delivers soldiers, and they can do 200,000 a day. They're going to be
This is
delivering
the
the
same man
It's
who
all
told
set
you
up.
by Easter this would be gone away. By the warm weather it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm and that would take care of it.
he ever say
This is the
That
same
was
man.
said sarcastically,
That was
you
him.
know that.
I
That
don't-
was said sarcastically.
And so here's the deal. This man is talking about a vaccine. Every serious company is talking about maybe having a vaccine done by the end of the year. But the distribution of that vaccine will not occur until sometime beginning or the middle of next year to get it out. If we get the vaccine. And pray God we will. Pray God we will.
Mr. Vice President, I want to pick up though
You'll have
on
the
that.
vaccine
I
sooner
want to
than
pick
that.
up on this question though. You say the public can trust the scientists, but they can't trust President Trump. In fact, you said that again tonight. Your running mate, Senator Harris, goes further, saying the public health experts, quote, will be muzzled, will be suppressed. Given the fact that polls already show that people are concerned about the vaccine and are reluctant to take it, are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
No more than the question you just asked him. You pointed out. He puts pressure and disagrees with his
much you
own
want
scientists.
they're gonna talk about
But you're
first?
saying you
Everybody
can't, or
knows.
Senator
And-
Harris is saying you can't trust the scientists.
No, you can trust the scientists. She didn't say that. You can't trust
She
the
said the public health
Did say
experts,
that.
quote, will be muzzled.
He
will
did
be
say that.
suppressed.
Well, that's what he's going to try to
Trump's
do. but
built stupid.
There's millions of scientists. There's thousands of scientists out there, like here at this great hospital, that don't work for him. Their job doesn't depend on him. That's not. They're the people And by
I
the way,
spoke to the
and Fauci,
scientists that are in charge.
By the way,
they will have
and
the vaccine very soon.
do you believe for a moment what he's telling you in light of all the lies he's told you about the whole issue relating to COVID? He still hasn't even acknowledged that he knew this was happening, knew how dangerous it was going to be back in February, and he didn't even tell you. He's on record as saying it. He panicked, or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people die, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
Oh,
Don't ever
Jesus
use
Christ.
Damn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
47 years you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if you would have had, let me just
Just
tell you something.
insulting him. Such a
If
bully.
you would have had the
He's
charge
bullying my
I
man.
was put
Actually
through.
so
I had the
mean.
greatest
That's so
economy in the history
Calm
of our
down,
country.
my
And
guy.
by the way,
You
now
get
it's being
big crack
built
right
again.
after.
Oh my God, I caught Trump on stream. Trump on stream.
It's going up fast.
Okay.
Look forward to talking.
When it comes to how the virus
Flip it,
has been
flip it.
handled so far, the two of you have taken very different approaches, and this is going to affect how the
Don't
virus
ever use the
is
word
handled
smart
going
with me.
forward by whichever of you ends up becoming the next president. I want to quickly go through several of those. Reopenings. Vice President Biden, you have been much more reluctant than President Trump about reopening the economy and school. Why, sir?
Because he doesn't have a plan. If I were running, I know what the plan is.
Oh
You've
my
got
God.
to provide these businesses the ability to have the money to be able to reopen with the PPE as well as.
So he
with
has
the
his plan, but
sanitation
what
they
is the
need.
plan?
You have to
Tell
provide
that to
them
Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi.
Well, he just shush for a minute.
Tell it to
See,
Nancy
you know,
Pelosi. And
and
Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Schumer.
Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, they have a plan. He won't even meet with them. The Republicans won't meet with the Senate.
Schumer, yeah.
He sits on his golf course. And, I mean, literally, think about it.
You're insulting the man for playing golf.
What about this question of reopenings and the fact
You're insulting this
He
man
wants to
for
shut down this
just not being intelligent.
and I want to keep it open. And we
You
did a
get-
great
he
thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it.
Bro, I could
Let me
out-debate
shut
either
you
one
down
of
for a
these two at this
second, John,
point.
just for 1 second. He wants to shut down the
Cam,
country.
we could
just went
all
through it.
out-debate
We had to,
both
'cause we
of
didn't know
them.
anything
Besides
about the
me,
disease.
I don't know
Now
what's
we found
happening.
That elderly
I don't.
people
Why
with
is
heart
Trump so
problems
good at
and
debating? I don't know
diabetes and
why
different
he's just
problems
freaking
are
out and
very, very vulnerable. We learned
does
about
nothing but
young
hurt him.
children.
Bad?
Like, he's going straight for Biden's neck, dude. It's
We've
like,
learned a lot.
I
okay.
know.
But he wants to
And then
shut it
Biden's
down.
laughing and goes,
More people will
"Shush."
be hurt
Shush,
by
child.
continuing. If you
I
look
think
at
the funniest part was when
Pennsylvania,
Trump looks at
certain
Biden and goes,
states that have
"Joe."
been shut down, they have Democrat governors all. One of the reasons they're shut down is because they want to keep it shut down until after the election
All right,
on
I
November
want to
3rd.
move on to another
Because
subject.
it's a
I want to move
political
on to another
I gotta
subject.
respond.
But those states,
gentlemen, I
those
want to move
states
on to
are
another
not
subject.
doing well that are shut down
Which is
right
gotta
now.
respond to that.
Wants to
President
shut
Trump,
down the
you
whole
have
country.
begun to increasingly question the effectiveness of masks as a disease preventer, and in
Why
fact,
do I need a
recently
mic
you
over
have
my
cited the issue of waiters touching their masks and touching plates. Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks are
efficacy
okay.
of
You have to
masks?
understand, if you look, I mean, I have a mask right here. I put the mask on, when I think I need it. Tonight, as an
Never,
example,
apparently.
everybody's had a test, and you've had social distancing and all of the things that you have to, but I
Just
wear
like your
masks
rally.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
It's
I
for
will
safety.
say-
Vice,
I will
Retard.
say
Vice President Biden, go ahead, sir.
Look, the way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to. We
Oh, where'd you come
provide
from,
money,
Aiden?
there's
But I was
contracts.
asking you, sir, about masks.
Masks make a big difference. His own head of the CDC said if we just wore masks between now, everybody wore masks.
Why are you
and social
surprised?
Distance between now and January, we'd probably save up to 100,000 lives.
Oh, well, I
It
was
matters.
streaming,
And
but I
they've
have no
also said the
idea.
opposite. They've also
And
said the opposite.
no serious person said the opposite.
talking,
No
I was
serious
streaming
person.
it except that I'm scared that I'm gonna
Dr.
get
Fauci
banned.
said
He
the opposite.
did
I
not
want
say
to
the
ask you, we
opposite.
got a
said
little
very
bit more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks are good.
I
I'm
wanna
okay
ask-
with masks.
I
I'm
want to
not
ask you
fighting
both about
masks.
one last subject, because your different approaches has even affected the way that you have campaigned. President Trump, you're holding large rallies with crowds packed together, thousands of people.
Outside.
Outside, yes, sir, agreed. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller
It doesn't matter if they're outside.
events with
Nobody will show
people
up.
yeah,
gather
people
together.
What's
Wait,
true?
What does
Nobody
being
shows
outside
up
have to
to
do with
an event.
anything?
In any case, why you holding the big rallies?
Dude, I don't want to
Why
watch
you
this
not?
because they're both
You go
really
first, sir.
stupid.
True.
People want to hear what I have to say. I mean,
How many people are watching
I'll
this?
shot in
Jesus
president,
Christ.
and I'll have 25, 35,000 people show up at airports. We use airports.
Are you
for
not worried
hangars,
about
and we
the
have a
disease
lot of
issue,
people.
sir?
Well, so far we have had no problem whatsoever. It's outside. That's a big difference according to the experts. And we do
Shoulders
them
are so
outside.
wide,
We have
Jesus Christ.
tremendous crowds, as you
So wide,
see.
man.
I mean, and literally on 24 hours notice. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
By the way, did you see
That's
one of the last big rallies he had? And a reporter came up to him to ask him a question. He said, no, stand back. All right, put on your mask. Put on a mask. Have you been tested? I'm way far away from those other people. That's what he said. I'm going to be okay. He's not worried about you. He's not worried about the people out there breathing one another.
We've had no negative
Joe?
effect.
Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm
Negative
just
effect.
gonna
We've
open
had
the
no
pistol.
negative
What-
effect, and we've
what
had
else do you want
35,
to
40,000
All right,
people
you wanna
at these rallies.
Just
Yes.
quickly finish up because I want to go to our next.
Yes,
If
I
anything,
would.
that
He's
shows
been
that he
totally
respects the,
irresponsible in the way in which he has
respect
handled
the rules that are
social
implied.
distancing.
Yeah, but only for
wearing
him.
a mask, basically encouraging them not to.
Yeah,
Like I said,
That's
this isn't a
important.
debate. It's just
If
like
you
how can they
get
insult
the
each other
crowds,
while
you
looking
would've done the
professional?
same thing.
Yeah.
But you can't. Nobody
Aiden,
can.
did you catch the part where Trump called him out for being stupid?
Move on to the economy?
Yes.
No.
The economy
Dude, that part was
is,
so
I think
funny.
it's fair to say, recovering
watching anything
faster
so
than
far.
expected from the shutdown.
Much
This-
faster.
In the second quarter, the unemployment rate fell to 8.4% last month. The Federal Reserve says the hit to growth, which is going to be there, is not going to be nearly as big as they had expected. President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped
The only credit I
recovery.
can give Biden right now.
Vice President Biden, you say
He's
it's
alive
more of a
still?
K-shape.
Not going
What
that
difference
that
does
he's
that
not,
mean
like,
to
only
the American
making fun
people
of
in
Trump.
terms of the economy? President Trump
Trump's
this-
only making fun of Biden.
So we built the greatest
Yeah.
economy in
So that's
history. We
why
closed
I
it
kind
down
of
because of the China plague.
respect
When the
Biden.
plague came in, we closed it
called the
down,
China
which was
plague,
very
thank you.
hard
what I
psychologically to
meant.
do. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. And again, 2 million people would be dead now instead of still 204,000 people is too much. One person is too much. Should have never happened from China. But what happened
China.
is
Drink.
we closed
China.
it down,
Drink.
and now
I mean,
we're
to be
reopening,
fair, it
and we're
was
doing record
kind of their
business.
fault that it
We
started.
had 10.4
It was, some
million
dude was like,
people
"Let me
in a
get that
4-month
bat suit,
period that
though."
we've put back into the workforce. That's a record the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. And he wants to close down he will shut it down again. He will destroy this country. You know, a lot of people, between
Country's already
drugs and
destroyed, it
alcohol
doesn't matter.
and depression, when you start shutting it down, you take a look at what's happening at
What
some of
the-
your
why are we
Democrat-run
watching this?
states where they have these
Because
tough
it's
shutdowns. And
political
I'm telling
and
you,
it
it's
is.
because
No,
they
somebody in
don't
my
wanna
chat
open
is
it.
asking
One
why are we
of them
watching
came
this.
out last week, you saw that.
Are
They're
you
gonna open
streaming
up
this?
in
Yes, I'm
November
live
9th,
streaming
one
this.
November 9th,
That's
because it's
epic.
after
You
the
should read out
election.
that entire
They
thing.
think
It's
they're
incredible.
hurting us by keeping
In
them
the
closed.
chat.
They're hurting people. People know what to do. They can
It's-
social distance, they
it's
can wash
shaggy
their hands, they
breathing.
can wear masks, they can do whatever they want. But they got to open these states up. When you look at North Carolina, when you look, and these governors are under siege, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and a couple of others, you got to open these states up. It's not fair. You're talking about almost it's like being in prison. And you look at what's going on with divorce, look at what's going on with alcoholism and drugs. It's a very, very sad thing. And he'll close down the whole country. This guy will close down the whole country.
This guy right
and
here.
destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly
doing it for
well,
extra credit.
setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody
you
to come
actually?
in and say, let's
Records
shut
of
it down.
death. My
All
God.
right, your 2 minutes, sir. We're now moved to you. As I said, posing the question, the president says it's a V-shaped recovery. You say it's a K-shaped recovery.
What?
What's the difference?
The difference
Shoot is a
is
K.
millionaires and billionaires like him in the middle of the COVID crisis have done very well.
Aren't you a millionaire too?
Another billionaires have made another.
Or maybe it's
$300
because he's the
billion
president.
because of his
That too.
profligate
Had
tax,
to.
proposal, and
That
you
probably
only
helps
focus on the
a
market.
lot.
But you folks at home, you folks living in Scranton and Claymont and all the small towns and working class towns in America, how well are you doing? This
doing
guy
fine.
paid
Well,
I'm doing all right.
$750 in taxes.
Sir, wait, no.
He's-
Sir,
here's the
it's-
back-
yeah, I
wrong,
understand. You've
Joe Biden.
agreed to
That's
the
my
2
hair.
minutes, so please let him have it.
Do I get my time back?
Is wrong.
The fact is that he has, in fact, worked on this in a way that he's going to be the first president of the United States to leave office having fewer jobs in his administration than when he became president. Fewer jobs than when he
Maybe
became
it's
president.
because there's
First
a
one in
pandemic.
American
but-
history.
okay.
Yeah,
Secondly,
that too.
The people who have lost their jobs are those people who have been on the front lines. those people
but he's
who
been
have been
taking
saving our lives, those people who have been out there
That was
dying,
just the pandemic.
people who've been putting themselves in a way to make sure
He likes to
that
play
we could
both cards
all
so he wins.
try to make it.
Oh,
And
you,
the
oh,
idea
yeah,
that
you
he is
ruined
insisting
jobs.
that
But you didn't
we
shut it down
go
fast enough.
forward and open when you have almost half the states in America with a significant increase in COVID deaths and COVID cases in the United States of America. And he wants to open it up more. Why does he want to open it up? Why doesn't he take care of the American? You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home in terms of your health and your safety. Schools.
He's trying to
Why
get
are
a
schools open?
vaccine, but
Because
he's
it
doing
costs a
nothing, I
lot of
guess.
money to open
I guess.
safely. You know, they were going to give, his administration was going to give
That
the
seems
teachers
very
and
low.
school students masks. And then they decided, no, couldn't do that because it's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. They've done nothing to help small businesses. Nothing. They're closing. 1 in 6 is now gone. He ought to get on the job and take care of the needs of the American people so we can open safely.
All right, your time is up, sir. We are going to get to.
I have to respond to that.
Well, you both had 2 minutes, sir.
I want to
Excuse me,
respond to
you made a
that.
statement.
So did you.
People want their schools.
Stop crying,
people
Trump.
want their
Let him
schools
speak.
open. They don't want to be shut down.
Shut
They don't
up.
want their schools.
Will's molding.
It's
10 hours,
so
because he's
sad
gonna be
what's
like, I need to
happening in New
respond
York.
to
It's
whoever.
almost like a ghost town.
Hear it.
And I'm not
It's
sure
how
it can
debates
ever
work.
recover.
Dude,
But
watch
they don't
watch
work.
Trump after this be like, he
People
didn't let me
want
speak. He didn't let me
places open.
speak.
They
They're
want to
all
get back to their
actual
life.
debates work.
Want
They'll be
to be
careful,
safe.
but they want their schools open.
Okay.
People want
I'm
to
the
be
one that
safe.
brought back football. By the way, I brought back Big Ten football.
He did
It
bring
was
back
me,
football.
and I'm very happy
That's
to
great,
do it.
dude. What does that do?
All right.
People of Ohio are
Spread
very
ca-
proud
spread
of
corona
it.
even
When
more.
people are at home getting
Ladies and
drunk in
gentlemen, we're gonna
alcoholism
get
and stuff,
to
they can
your
watch football.
economic plans
Also,
and
it spreads
the
corona,
moment, but
so
first,
that's
Mr.
cool.
President, as you well know, there's a new report that in 2016, the year you were elected president, and 2017, your first year as president, that you paid $750 a year in federal income
Oh, here it
tax
comes. Here goes the
each of
tax.
those years. I know that you pay a lot of other taxes, but I'm asking you the specific question. Is it true that you paid $750 in
Yeah,
federal
that's right,
income taxes each of those 2
Here it comes.
years?
I paid millions of dollars in taxes,
we
millions
go.
of dollars of income tax.
Uh-oh.
And let me just tell you, there was a story in one of the papers. I
Show us
paid,
your
I
tax.
paid $38 million
Which
one year.
It's just
I
true.
paid $27
Show
million
us your
It's
tax
all
year.
true, but he never
I
said he
went-
paid
you'll
that
see
much
it as
money
soon
in
as it's
2017.
finished.
If you look at the New York
I mean,
Times
I wanna
article,
do-
it started
go
at
to the Board of
$750
Elections.
if you go
There's
down their sources.
118-page or so
Look at
report
those in the
that
thing.
says everything I have, every
put it in
bank
their
I
own
have,
article.
I'm totally under-leveraged because the assets are extremely good,
It's just the way
and
he's
we have
talking.
I built a
Sir,
great
I'm asking you a
company.
specific question, which
But
is...
let me tell you-
I understand all of that.
Release your
I
tax
understand
return.
all of that.
But
I'm
Oh
asking-
no.
No, Mr. President.
Oh no.
I'm asking you a
Please don't
question.
ask me if he wants me to be
Will you
Aladdin.
tell us how much
Please,
you
God.
paid
Please don't
in
ask me a
federal
question.
income
It confuses
taxes
me.
in 2016 and
Biden.
2017?
Millions of dollars.
You paid millions of dollars?
Millions of dollars.
So
yes.
not $750.
He actually remembered to take his
And
pills
you'll
this
get to
morning.
see it. And you'll get to see
When?
it. But let me
He
just
sounds like
argue.
such an awful
Chris, let
person
me
to
just
talk
say
with. Like
something
he's
that
constantly
It
talking
was
over
the
me.
tax laws. I don't want
That's
to pay
just what he
tax.
does.
That's what he does. He doesn't let anybody
Yeah,
speak.
that's why I hate him as a person.
Welcome
Like
to
every
American
other private
politics,
person, unless they're
where
stupid,
we have
they go
to choose
through
from
the laws,
a
and that's
giant
what it is.
huge
He
or a shit
passed a
sandwich.
tax bill that gave us all these privileges
Yeah, you
for
picked from someone who has
depreciation
dementia or
and
someone
for
who has an ego
tax
and is
credits.
very
We built
retarded.
a building and we get tax
He's not
credits. like
retarded.
that.
He just
There's
like
not
he
very
just
many
does
people
stuff.
who
Not
Which, by the
he's
way,
not retarded. He
was
just
given
does
to me
stuff
by
like
the
in an
Can I pick
unconventional
none?
way.
administration, if
Guys,
you
he
can
brought
believe
back
that.
football.
Now the man got
Vice
fired
President,
right after that
brought back
happened.
football.
But
Vice
that's
President Biden, you want to respond?
Yeah, I do want to respond.
Yeah, I do want to respond.
Code
I
that
do
made
want to
him
respond.
I
put
was
in a
Obama's
position
vice
to pay
president.
less
I'm
tax
fine.
than a school teacher made.
I'll actually sit right
And
here.
the money a school
Hey,
teacher
am
makes
I unmuted?
is because
Yeah.
he says he's
Yeah,
smart
okay, so I
because
looked
he
at
can take
Twitter and it's all
advantage
baby
of the
rages.
tax code. And he does
What'd he
take
say?
advantage of the tax code. That's why
It's all
I'm
baby
gonna
rages.
eliminate
I
the
looked
Trump
at
tax
Twitter.
cuts.
It
We're
is.
gonna
He's
eliminate
mauling,
those
dude. He's
tax cuts and make sure that we invest in the people who
Twitter
in
is a
fact
different
need
place.
the help.
I'm looking
People
right
Dude,
now.
out
people.
there
He's
need
mauling
help.
over
Why
this.
didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because
I
you
wanna-
weren't
Why didn't
president.
you do it
Because
over
you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator, and
You're
by
the
the way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just say,
Yeah,
Joe, I've done
okay.
more in In 47 months,
Even
I've done more than
even
you've
the
done in
president of the
47 years, Joe. We've done
Yo,
things
yo,
that you never even
hey,
thought
somebody in
about,
my chat said,
including
hey, yo,
maxing
somebody in my
the
chat said you went from
military that you
Fortnite
gave
to
me.
Minecraft to Terraria then to politics.
We're talking about the economy.
Parkour.
Growing up
Forward,
fast, Aggie.
Standard
because,
path of the
Vice President,
Minecraft
your
YouTuber.
economic plan,
Dude, I'm losing so many
if you were to be
subscribers.
elected president, focuses a lot on big
Wait, are you
government, big
actually?
taxes.
I don't know, probably.
Big spending. I want to focus first on the taxes. You propose more than $4
Everyone's
trillion
calling
over a
him a
decade
cuck.
in new taxes.
Well, I gained
on
one. So.
Individuals making more than
The
$400,000
moderators,
a year and on corporations.
Yeah.
President Trump says that that kind of an increase in taxes is going to hurt the
It's just
economy as
politics
it's
right now
just
on
coming
Twitter.
out of a
That's all it's
recession.
Well, just take a look at what has the analysis been done by Wall Street firms. Points out that my
They're just,
my
I don't like
economic
them as
plan
people.
would create
you know?
7
Yeah, they're
million
kinda
new
harsh.
jobs
I want
in 4 years.
Joe
Number one.
Biden to sniff my hair.
Number two,
Me just watching this, political bait, not knowing anything about Trump would make me not like him as a person.
buying America. That we
No,
have
I don't
to
like. I
make
never
the
did
federal
like him as
government
a
spend
person.
Well, obviously,
$6
but
billion
wait,
here.
sorry.
Bernie
Well, like
ships
as a president, he's
To be honest, who likes Donald Trump as a person?
And under my
No
proposal,
one.
we're
No
going to
one.
make sure that
Donald
every
Even the people who, even the people who voted for him didn't like him as a person.
But respectfully,
It's
Trump
that or
talks
Hillary
about
Clinton.
taxes, not
The
spending.
wicked Hillary.
By the way, I'm going to eliminate
Hillary's
a significant
worse.
number of the tax. I'm going to make
Oh yeah,
the
almost
the
everyone
corporate tax
who didn't vote
28%.
for her
Shouldn't
knows
be
that.
21%.
Yeah.
You have
And the people who did vote for her was
19
because woman.
91 companies,
Yeah, it's
federal,
actually-
I
mean,
like
the
a woman.
Fortune 500 who
Because
don't pay
woman.
a single penny in tax,
Yeah.
making billions of dollars.
Guys, imagine though, we can make history first woman.
Because
Yeah,
you
that's-
in
Hey, yo,
fact
you remember the
passed
wall?
it.
Remember the wall?
Bad
You
butt.
got it done, and you know what happened?
Yeah, you got it done.
Our economy boomed
And
like it's never
That's
boomed.
literally all it
economy
was.
is
Mr.
busted.
President,
Let
let
me
me,
finish.
Mr. President, let me pick up on that. You
Like it's
would
both
continue
of you.
Like you have
your
5
free market
tabs open
approach,
in Chrome.
lower
No, but that
taxes,
doesn't
more
make
deregulation,
Bringing
correct?
con-
Lower
That is
taxes
true.
American people.
The
But
presidential
let me-
debate
but
is like
in-
when you
but
have like
in
5
Obama's,
different
you talk about
tabs
the
open.
economy booming. It turns
It
out
is.
that in Obama's
Or
first
when
3
like you're
years
telling a
as
story,
president,
but like there's a
more
bunch of
jobs
filler that
were
you have to fill in
created,
the
1.5
background,
million
so you keep relating
more
back to
jobs
something else that
than
you've
in the
already
first
talked
3
It's like a
years
YouTube
your
clip, but they have to cut
The
out like
slowest
random chunks of 10
recovery
seconds.
Since
To avoid
1929,
copyright.
Crimson.
Since
To avoid
1929,
copyright.
it was the
I would
slowest
love to
recovery.
see
Also,
Fox
they
News
took over
Gaming.
something that was down here.
Fox
All you had to
News
do is
Gaming?
turn on the lights and you pick up a
Yeah.
light. They had the slowest economic
News Gaming.
recovery
It's
since
like Disney XD
1929.
where
Let me tell you
it's
about the
Disney
stock market.
Gaming.
The stock market
Party
goes up,
Boys.
that means jobs. It also means 401ks. If
Parker
you got
Boys
in,
pup.
if you
It's
ever
so
became
odd.
president with your
Why are we
ideas,
talking
you want
about
to terminate
this?
my taxes, I'll tell you what, you'll lose half of the companies that have poured in here will leave, and plenty
Half
of
of the
companies that are
companies-
already here, they'll leave for other places. They will leave, and you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen.
Look,
Mr.
we
Vice
inherited
China.
the worst recession
I love the way he
short
says
of a
China.
depression in American history. I was asked to
China.
bring it back. We were able to have
He
an
put so much
economic
emphasis
recovery
on
that
it.
created
China.
the jobs you're talking about.
China. Oh, by the way, that's a drink,
He
boys.
booming economy. He blew it.
It wasn't
say it.
booming.
You actually
It
blew
wasn't
it.
booming.
It was a-
It was the
All
weakest
right.
recovery.
Wait, is it fair to say he blew it when, in
When
fact,
COVID
when
came.
there was
Lemonade
record
old.
low unemployment?
Seven
before
guys who
COVID?
can't
Is
vote.
it sad that I'm actually like paying attention to what they're
I'm
saying?
trying to pay
Manufacturing
attention.
went in a hole.
It's a good title.
Manufacturing went in a hole.
Excuse
Number
me,
one.
Chris. Wait.
Number two.
Hey, welcome to the
They
stream.
said it would take. No, you're a number two.
No.
Chris. They said it would take a miracle to bring back manufacturing.
Hey, welcome to
I
the
brought
stream.
back
Oops, I closed out a
700,000 jobs.
political
They brought
debate.
back nothing. They gave up on manufacturing.
So we're doing this. I'm just kind of bored, so tune in. I'll be uploading a bunch of stuff.
Trump blames Biden for like a ton of stuff, and it's like Biden is not in a power seat where he can
Isn't he vice president?
He blew it.
Well,
No.
what he's talking about is that he was in a power
Hey,
for
thank you
about
for the like.
7 years.
Love you guys.
Right.
Subscribe.
Like,
Many of our companies
Wait,
from Germany, from Japan, went to Michigan, went to
They're
Ohio,
not having
and
it.
they didn't come back.
Damn, roll it back a couple of seconds.
And so you take a look at what he's actually done.
He was just talking about Michigan.
Okay.
Came in for last year.
How far?
Michigan had the best year.
They're going
Ohio.
in Michigan. He was to bring back Chrysler and General Motors. He brought them back.
How far do you want me to go back?
Just go back to where they're talking about.
Michigan.
Or yeah, Michigan.
Factory. I brought this. Chris.
Went in the hole.
Before COVID, and
We're gonna.
Next door to the depression in American history. I was asked to
Back a little.
When the stock market goes up, that means
just
jobs.
play
It
live
also
because they
means
just said
401ks.
something that I think is
If
very
you
funny
got
because
in,
I'm watching
if
it
you
on my
became
TV.
president with your
Alright,
ideas,
yeah, let's
you
just
wanna
go live.
terminate my tax? my tax
And trade deal. You know, he talks about the art of the deal. China's perfected
Donald
the
Trump
art of the
already
steal.
the art of the deal.
We
Art
have
of the
a higher
steal.
deficit
Art of
with
the
China now
steal.
than we did before. We have the highest trade deficit with Mexico.
All right, gentlemen.
Jonah ate your lunch.
Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Barista to deserve it?
Why? What is it? What does that do with? What does his son have to do with him? Like,
It doesn't, but it's just a good.
It's just him
fact.
trying to make him look bad.
dude, that's why I don't like watching these debates. Like, it's not a debate. It's like, let's just bring up points as to why he's worse than I am.
And by the way,
Well, wait, he didn't get
That's a
$3.5
debate.
million yet?
Mr. Vice,
He got
Mr.
$3.5
President,
million.
No, worse as a person. It's not like.
Mr. President.
It's not like. Why would I be a better president? It's. Hey guys, he's not good.
It's a fact.
Well, you have raised an issue. Let the
Yo, his son
answer.
took money.
Yo, his son? Yeah, his son got money.
You son of a
Come
bitch.
over.
Mr. President,
I trusted you.
he didn't want to let me answer because he
And your
knows I
son
have the
took
truth.
the money.
His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited.
You had my vote,
by
but no
everybody.
longer.
Well, by the media, by our
For your
allies,
son
by the World
takes
Bank,
the
by,
money.
by everyone has
Son of a
discredited.
bitch. Oh, I trusted
Matter
you.
of fact,
Mr.
even the people
President,
who
please stop.
testified under oath.
Please stop.
So let me ask you this, Joe.
No,
Moderated,
Mr.
by the way.
I'm listening to you.
Called him a clown.
He
$3.5
testified,
Moscow.
he testified under oath in his administration, said, I did my job and I did it very well. I did it
I'd like to know
honorably.
who they are.
Well, I'll give you the list of the people who testified.
No, go ahead, sir.
Sure, you've already fired most of them because they did a good job.
Some people don't
Well,
do a good
here's
job. With you,
Go ahead.
they
You
say-
get the,
here's the
wait a
deal.
minute. You get the final word. Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just
No,
say,
no, Mr. President.
$3.5
Mr.
million,
President.
Joe.
That is simply
Why did he
not true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal. We
Your
want to
son
talk
has
about
money.
families and ethics. I don't want to do that. I mean, his family we could talk about all night. His family's
My
already...
family,
No, let him go.
my family
already
lost
wrote
a fortune by coming down and helping
Go
us
ahead.
with
Go
government.
ahead, sir.
And that's such a...
And they're right
Go
here.
ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
that's
Every
not our
single
fault.
one
You
of them
stuck
lost
This is
with
not
money.
about my
President.
family or his family. It's about your family.
They
The
didn't
American
make
people.
$3.5 million.
He doesn't... That's not true. It doesn't want to talk
Get a
about
fucking
what
me.
you need.
Shit.
You, the American people. It's about
you
you.
talking
That's what
to
we're
the
talking about.
person?
All right,
No one
that's
else
the
on
end
the
of
other
the-
side of
that's the
that
end of the
camera,
segment.
Joe.
We're moving on.
It didn't take that.
Vice President, no.
Can I be honest? It's a very important
Try to be
question.
honest.
No, I
He stood up.
No,
He stood up.
the answer to
and
the
he
question is
threatened
no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
That
get rid of
is
the
absolutely...
The answer to the question is no.
Stop.
Shut up.
Hey, doing it.
You're going to
Not
have...
true.
Gentlemen, I hate to raise my voice,
he's
but it
on
seems
tape.
to be... Why should I be different than the two of you? So here's the deal.
Good point.
We have
Oh dear.
6 segments. We have ended that segment. We're going to go to the next segment. In that segment, you each are going to have 2 uninterrupted moments. In those 2 uninterrupted minutes, Mr. President, you can say anything you want. I'm going to ask a question about race, but if you want to answer about something else, go ahead. But I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions. I
Well
would
said.
you, sir, to do.
Well,
He has
frankly,
done
you've
more
been
for
doing more interruptions.
black Americans.
Well, less than
False,
He's,
actually.
He's
Well, he does more
caused
than
more
me.
people to die.
if it was literally
issue of
every
race.
time
Vice
Biden
President
laughs
Biden,
at
you
Trump,
say that
dude,
Hold on, I wanna
people would be wasted right now.
to the violence
So
in
excited to see
Charlottesville
the
3 years
morning
ago,
edits of
when he
this
talked
to
about
paint
very
people
fine people on
I
both
can't wait to
sides
see Emily Booth.
was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Wait.
President Trump, you have often said that you believe you have done more for black Americans than any president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. My question for the two of you is, why should voters trust you rather than your opponent to deal with the race issues facing this country?
Because
over the
his
next
son
4
makes
years?
money.
Vice President Biden, you go first.
Equality,
No, guys, I actually want to listen to this part.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking.
Constitution. And we have never walked away from trying to require equity for everyone, equality for the whole of America. But we've never accomplished it. But we've never walked away from it like he has done. It is true. The reason I got in the race was when those people, close your eyes, remember what those people looked like coming out of the fields carrying torches, their veins bulging, just spewing anti-Semitic bile, and accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. A young woman got killed. And they asked the president what he thought. He said there were very fine people on both sides. No president's ever said anything like that.
Juliet just said I should go to what's it called? As Halloween as Mr. Freeze, and I'm upset.
When Floyd was killed, when Mr. Floyd was killed,
they brought it up,
there was a peaceful protest in front of the White House. What did he do? He came out of his bunker, had the military use tear gas on him so he could walk across to a church and hold up the Bible. And then what happened after that? The bishop of that very church said that it was a disgrace. The general who was with him said all he ever wants to do is divide people, not unite people at all. This is a president who has used everything as a dog to try to generate racist hatred, racist division.
They had the opportunity. Dude's gonna lose his job.
Yeah.
1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed. 1 in 500 African Americans.
Okay.
This man is a savior of African Americans. This man cares at
coronavirus.
all.
Why is he bringing? Oh, wait. I'm
virtually
sorry,
nothing.
but like,
Look,
why is he bringing coronavirus? I thought this was about like race issues, not.
Yeah, I know.
What is he talking about? This is actually pissing me off.
Dude, he's trying to defend the black vote. Fucking
President Trump, 2 minutes. Why should
No.
Americans?
No,
It's just. What do you mean? Okay, 1 in every 500 white people are gonna die. Oh, but don't worry about it, guys.
Like,
Don't worry about them.
what's his point?
So you did that, and they called you super predator, and I'm letting people out of jail now that you have treated the African American population community, you have treated the black community about as bad as anybody in this country. You did the 1990, and that's why, if you look at the polls, I'm doing better than any Republican has done in a long time, because they saw
Donald
what you
Trump
did.
would win
You
the
called
election
them
if they free
super
Bobby Schroeder.
predators, and you've called them worse than that, because you look back at your testimony of
Get off this call and just watch a little bit of it and then go to sleep.
and as far as the generals are concerned,
watch
we
the
just
US
got the
government
support
and
of
US government. They're gonna talk about
250
the entire
military
black
leaders and generals. Total support. Law enforcement, almost every law
shit.
enforcement
This is a
group in the
dumpster fire.
United States.
Oh,
I
wait,
have
no, it's
Florida,
Wednesday
I have
tomorrow.
Texas, I have Ohio, I have.
Oh, if it's
excuse me,
Wednesday, yeah,
Portland.
tomorrow's a half
Sheriff
day. They're
just came
definitely gonna
out
talk
today,
about
and
a
he
whole
said,
hour
I support
or half hour.
President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. And why aren't you saying
Has
those
anyone
words?
said
Why don't you
Trump
say
is
the words
radical
law
right?
enforcement? Because you know what? If they called us in Portland, we would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. If you look at Chicago, if you look at any place you want to look, Seattle, they heard we were coming in the following day, and they put up their hands, and we got back Seattle. Minneapolis, we got it back, Joe, because we believe in law and order, but you don't. The top 10 cities and just about the top 40 cities are run by Democrats and in many cases radical left, and they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order. And I'll tell you what, the people of this country want and demand law and order, and you're afraid to even say it.
All right. I want to return to the question of race. Vice President Biden, after the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case decided not to charge any of the police with homicide, you said it raises the question, quote, whether justice could be equally applied in America. Do you believe that there is a separate but unequal system of justice for blacks in this country?
Yes, there's systemic injustice in this country, in education, in work, and in law enforcement, and the way in which it's enforced. But look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable men and women. They risk their lives every day to take care of us. But there are some bad apples. And when they occur, them, they have to be sorted out. They have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. And what I'm going to do is
that's better than saying the whole police force is corrupted or the whole police force is perfect.
Well, everything from the civil rights groups to the police officers, to the police chiefs, and we're going to work this out. We're going to work this out. So we change the way in which we have more transparency.
My
And when
problem
these
with
things
the
happen,
Breonna
these
Taylor
cops aren't happy
eruption,
to
yeah,
see
it's a
what
very
happened
bad thing, but it
to
wasn't a
George
racist
Floyd.
thing.
These
Like,
cops
it was,
aren't
she was,
happy to see
she
what
was, it
happened
was a
to
cross
Breonna
incident.
Taylor. Most don't like it, but we have
wasn't
to have a
crossfire, but
system
it wasn't
where
racist.
people are held accountable.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't
by the way,
racist. It's just a
violence
police
and
officer who has
response is
absolutely
never
no regard
appropriate.
for another human
Never
being's life.
appropriate. Peaceful protest is. Violence is never appropriate.
All right,
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place,
that
and you
is
say
not
peaceful
peaceful
protest?
President
No,
Trump,
it's
I'm not
not, but
asking-
you say it is.
President Trump, I'd like to continue with the
Yes,
issue
go
of
ahead,
race. I
please.
promise we're going to get to the issue of law and order in a moment. This month, your administration directed federal agencies to end racial sensitivity training that addresses white privilege or critical race theory. Why did you decide to do that, to end racial sensitivity training, and do you believe that there is systemic racism in this country, sir?
I ended it because it's racist. I ended it because a lot of people were complaining that they were
How is
asked to do
racial-
things that were
how is
absolutely
training people
insane,
not to be racist
that it
racist?
was a radical
I don't
revolution that was
It's
taking
racist
place
because
in
Trump
our
said it's
military,
racist, and
He
in
did.
our schools,
thinks whatever
all
he
over the
says
place,
goes.
and you know it, and so does everybody
what
else.
is
I'm
And
sorry
you
if
would
any
know.
of you
What is
guys
radical about
think
racial
that. I don't.
sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in
I don't
life. It was
support
sort
him.
of
I
a
just agree with
reversal.
some of his
Support
stuff.
And if
any
you
of
look
these
at the
guys.
people, we would pay
Yes,
people
man.
hundreds of thousands of dollars
I just
to
don't
teach
want, like,
very bad ideas and frankly
to,
very
like-
sick
The
ideas.
only- the only reason
and
I
really,
just-
they were
Go
teaching
off
people
about
to
that.
hate our country.
Dude,
And
I
I'm not
honestly,
gonna do that. I'm not
both of
gonna
them are
allow that
awful.
to happen.
Like they shouldn't be in
We have to
office. But
go
like, I just
back
prefer
to
Trump
the
over
core
Biden.
values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is
None of
a
them should be in
horrible
office,
place,
so I'd
it's a
rather have him.
racist place,
Yeah.
and they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Vice President Biden?
Nobody's doing that. He's
Oh,
the
you-
racist.
you just don't.
Here's the deal. I know a lot more about
You
this.
don't.
No,
Let
I
him
don't
finish.
know who
no,
said it.
they're not
Like,
racist.
fact
like
is-
what you
He's
said,
racist.
we don't like
It
either
is
of them, but
racial
we'd rather have
sensitivity.
Trump in
People
office.
have to be
and
made aware
probably on the other side,
of what
I'd rather
other
have
people
Biden in
feel
office,
like.
but I think
What
opposing
is-
viewpoints
it's-
are
what is
okay.
demeaning
The
to
reason
them.
I don't,
It's
the reason I
important
don't
people
want
know they
Biden
don't
is
want
because
this.
he's just
Many
like a
people don't
people's
wanna
person.
hurt
He's
other
not like
people's feelings.
trying
Yeah,
to like.
He makes a big difference.
He's-
It makes a gigantic difference.
He's
in
just,
the way a child
he's like, he right
is
now
able to
he's
grow
like
up and have
literally
a sense
speaking out of
of
his ass. He's just
self-esteem.
saying what the
It's a
people
little
want to
bit
hear.
like how this
Exactly.
guy and his
That's
There's
why I
no
don't.
shit
That,
in
I just don't trust
down
him.
their
Like,
nose on
if he
people
would
like
just
Irish
say what like he
Catholics
really
like
wanted
me
to
and
do,
grow up in
he'd probably
Scranton,
be a
look
better
down on
president.
people
But like,
who
the
don't
dude's just
have money.
speaking out
They
of his
look down
ass.
on
So I just
people
don't want to.
who are of a
I like
different
how
faith. They look down on people
Yeah,
who
that's
are a
exactly
different
what it
color. In fact, we're all Americans. The only way we're going to bring this country together is bring everybody together. There's nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
That's like you
We
can just
can take
divide
this on
Republicans
and
and
we can
Democrats so you
defeat
can.
racism.
Republicans are logical, but like they're way too
During the
logical. They don't
Obama
ever think about how that it'll affect people
administration, there was
and like on an
tremendous
emotional
division.
level or like
There was
just how people will
hatred. You
feel
look
about
at,
it. Democrats,
Ferguson, you
they
look at-
only care about
you
how
go to
people feel
very
about it.
many places. Look at Oakland. Look what happened in Oakland. Look what happened in Baltimore. Look what happened. Frankly,
That's
it was
why
more
we need
violent than what
someone
I'm
in the
even seeing now.
smackdown
But
battle.
the reason is that the Democrats that run these
Absolutely
cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
And you still
crime,
haven't mentioned-
violent
Are you in
crime.
favor of
Just
law and order?
imagine
I'm in
if Kanye
favor
was
of law. You
speaking
follow
Are you
instead
in
of
favor
fighting.
of law and order? Go ahead,
Yes, I'm
say
in
it.
favor.
You
Everybody's
asked a
in favor
question,
of
let him finish.
law and order.
Loses
Law
left.
and
Let
order.
him, let him.
Law and order with
This is so
justice, where
fucking
people get treated fairly. And the fact of the matter is, violent crime went down 17%, 15% in our administration.
All right.
It's gone up on his watch.
Went down
He-
much more
he
in
had-
ours.
All right, we're
He
not.
is
You're,
president of
Mr.
the
President,
United
you're going
States
to.
of America.
We
Mr.
were
President,
breaking every record in the
Mr.
book.
President, you're going to be very happy because we're now going to talk about law and order.
Places we had trouble with Democratic-run cities.
That's
These
exactly my
are
point. There
more-
has been a dramatic increase in homicides in
Isn't it wild
America
that this guy prefers
this summer,
Biden?
particularly, and you
Yeah.
often blame that on
I
Democratic
can't blame him. The
mayors and
dude's just
Democratic
like
I
governors.
can't-
completely
I can't
ignoring
In
him.
fact, there have been
I'd be pissed.
equivalent spikes in
I could
Republican-led
not
cities
be
like
the
Tulsa and Fort Worth.
Moderator.
host
So
of
the
the
question
debate.
is this
Moderator.
really a party issue?
Dude, I would curse
I
at
think
them.
it's a party issue. You can bring in a
I
couple
would
of
too. Like,
examples, but if you look
it's a
at
debate, and you're just being stubborn. The administration.
53 people were shot and 8 died shot. If you look at New York, where it's going up like nobody's ever seen anything, the numbers are going up 100, 150, 200%. Crime. It is crazy what's going on. And he doesn't.
All right, what did I miss? Iham asked me some questions about physics.
It's talking about how we hate both of them.
How we hate what?
Both of them.
Fair. Let's go. 30 playbacks on this 1 hour video. Let's go. I take those.
They're talking about a lot.
You would see problems like
He wouldn't know a suburb unless he took a wrong turn.
Oh, I know suburbs.
Oh, I know suburbs.
I was raised in the suburb. This is
How's
not
that funny?
1950. All these dog whistles and racism.
He's kind of funny sometimes. I don't know why.
By and large integrated.
I think
There's
because
many
he's
people
kind of
today
fast as
driving
well.
their kids to
I
soccer
know
practice
suburbs.
and or to black and white and Hispanic
son
in the
makes
same
some money.
car as there have been any time in the past. What really is a threat to the suburbs and
I'm
their
just
safety
waiting.
is
I'm
his
just
failure
waiting
to deal
until
with COVID. They're
Joe
dying
Biden
in the
actually
suburbs.
does
His
college or
failure to
something.
deal with the environment. They're being flooded. They're being burned out because
I'm
he
waiting
has
for
been
Joe
doing
Biden to say the hard R.
That's why the suburbs are in trouble.
Dude, it's gonna happen.
He's like, all right, I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Trump. Trump, I've had enough. I'm exercising my Second Amendment right.
First of all, what does reimagining policing mean, and do you support? Let me.
What's the fix on your PC,
What
Trump?
does reimagining policing mean, and do you support the Black Lives Matter call for community control of policing?
Look, what I support.
What did you
is
at everyone, Ryan?
having the opportunity to deal with the problems that
Somebody
they
I just got a notification from Discord.
What?
Matter of fact,
That was probably you. Freaking
No,
nerd.
that was
funding,
Meg
his
Han.
budget calls for a
I'm for you to
$400
read
million
this. I
cut
can't
in
read
local
that.
law
Oh,
enforcement.
I
Among Us.
implore you.
They need more assistance.
That's so
they
good.
need when they show up for a 9/11
You have to
call
be on your
someone
phone,
who
it's
is
so
a
good.
psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force and be able to talk people down. We have to have community policing like we had before, where the officers get to know the people in the communities. That's when crime went down. It didn't go up, it went down. And so
Meet
we
your
have to be
mom.
That's
engaged
not what
in
they're
prevention.
talking about,
That-
Chris. That's not what
that-
they're talking
that's
He's talking
exactly
about the
it.
funding.
I'm not
That-
good with
that
directions.
is
Request
not
up.
true.
He doesn't have any law
Would you
support.
look?
He has no law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
not. Look,
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go
Look,
ahead.
look.
Think.
Uh-oh.
We have time.
we don't have time to do
No,
anything.
We don't have time anymore.
Name one law enforcement group
Your son
that
takes
came out and
fucking
supported
money.
you.
Admit it.
And I want to get
Alright.
to another subject, which is the issue of protests
Wow,
in
what
many
if we
cities
dodged that
that have
question?
turned violent. In Portland,
Yeah,
Oregon,
there's
especially, we had more than 100 straight days of
There's
protests,
an imposter
which I
among
think you
them.
would agree. You talked about peaceful protests. Many of those turned into
Fucking moderator,
riots.
dude.
Mr. Vice
We caught
President,
him.
you say that people who commit crimes should be held accountable. The question I have, though, is as the Democratic nominee, and earlier tonight you said that you are the Democratic Party right now. Have you ever called the Democratic
I
mayor
am
of
the
Portland,
Democrat.
the Democratic
I am
governor
Democratic
of Oregon,
Party.
and
I am
said,
Democrat.
"Hey, you've got to stop this, bring in the National Guard, do whatever it takes, but you'd stop the days and months of violence in Portland."
Wrong.
I don't hold public office now. I am a former vice president. I've made it clear. I've made it clear in my public statements that the violence should be prosecuted. It should be prosecuted. And anyone who commits it
But
should
you've
be
never called
prosecuted.
for the people, the leader. Excuse me, sir. You had never called for the leaders in
Yes, he's
Portland
getting
and
mad.
in Oregon to call
Because
and bring in the National Guard and knock off 100 days of
We
riots.
went down
They
from
can, in
Mr.
fact,
President,
take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look, here,
Oh, really?
here,
Oh, really?
here's the thing.
no,
I
that-
sent
sir,
in
no,
the
wait, I
US
asked
Oh,
you a
really?
question.
Really?
the killer
Oh.
of a young man in the middle of the street, and they shot him. And
Right.
for 3
Mr.
days,
President Trump,
Portland
President
wouldn't do
Trump,
anything. I
please
had to send
interrupt
in
us.
the U.S. Marshals, and
President
they took
Trump,
care of business.
Go ahead, sir.
And by the way, you know, his own former spokesperson said, you know, riots and chaos and violence help his cause.
I brought back
That's what
football.
this is all
I
about.
don't know who said that.
I do.
Who?
I think Kellyanne Conway.
I don't think she said
She said that. And so here's the point. The point is that that's what he is.
Kellyanne Conway.
He doesn't want to calm things
I don't think
down.
she said that.
Instead of
Yeah,
going
me neither.
in and talking to people and saying, let's get everybody
It's just the
together,
way he
figure out
speaks
how
is
to
so
deal
funny.
with this. What's he do? He just pours gasoline in the fire, constantly,
And-
every single solitary
Okay,
time.
and to end this, button up this segment, I'm going to give you a minute to answer, sir. You have repeatedly
Well, wait, I
criticized.
have to answer his
No,
statement.
you have
His statement.
repeatedly.
Wait,
You have
just one
repeated. No,
second.
you've been talking
He
back
made
and
a
forth.
statement.
I'm asking you.
I would
no,
love
you
to
know,
end it.
sir.
I would love to.
You know, if you want to switch seats,
God,
we
dude,
can,
this is
we can do that. But I'm
Send in the National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay.
But they don't want to accept the National Guard.
You have repeatedly criticized the Vice President for not
You've repeatedly-
specifically calling
you
out
would not shut
Antifa
the fuck
and
up.
other left-wing
He just
extremist
snaps.
groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared to
do that,
specifically
but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see
Well,
peace.
then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
White
name. Go ahead.
supremacists and
Who would
white
you like me to condemn?
white supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because
Dog,
this is
Ham has
not
got to be the
right-wing
nicest person I've ever met.
This is a left wing.
FBI director
This
said,
is a left wing
about white supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got
It is an idea.
It
is an idea.
FBI.
Literally an organization. It's literally an organization.
We're done, sir.
It is literally an organization. Oh my god, it's labeled as an organization. It should be labeled as a terrorist organization, but you know.
Can I tell you what?
You have no idea.
Antifa is a dangerous radical.
Gentlemen, we're now moving on to the Trump and Biden record.
Let him move on. This guy's in charge here.
I'm going to ask a question. When the president seeks a second term, it is generally a referendum on his record. But Vice President Biden, you like to quote one of your dad's sayings, which is, "Don't compare me to
My
the
dad
almighty,
makes money.
compare me to the alternative."
My dad left.
Son makes money.
Dad.
Looking
We got him.
at both of your records,
His
I'm gonna
dad's
ask
son
each of
makes
you,
money.
why should voters elect
We
you
found it.
president over your opponent in this
You're not
segment?
fit to be
President Trump, you
president.
go first, 2 minutes.
Because there has never
I'm about to
been
play CS while I
an
watch this.
administration or president who
It's
has
fair.
done more than I've done. In a
Maybe the
period of
gunshots
3.5
will drown
years.
out their
And that's
talking.
despite the impeachment hoax, and you saw what happened today with
I will
Hillary
have to
Clinton,
agree with
where it was
this.
a whole big con job.
He's done quite a
But
lot.
despite going through all of these things, where I had to fight.
Yeah, quite a
both
lot of
flanks
talking and
behind me
arguing.
and above. There has never
His
been
priorities
an
aren't the best, but he did
administration
quite a
that's done
bit.
what I've done.
For,
The greatest
um,
before COVID came in, the greatest economy in
I'm sorry, I was talking to
lowest
Ham. What happened?
Unemployment numbers. Everything was good. Everything was going. And by the way, there was unity going to happen. People were calling me for the first time in years. They were calling.
For
and
the
they were
first time
saying,
in years,
"It's
people
time
wanted to
maybe,"
talk
and
to
then what
me.
happened was it hit, but now we're building it back up
True,
again.
true.
The rebuilding of the military, including Space Force and all of the other things. A fixing of the VA, which was a mess under him. 308,000 people died because they didn't have proper health care. It was a mess. And we now got a 91% approval
didn't he-
rating at the
didn't
VA, our vets.
get
We
rid
take
of
care of
the
our
health-
vets. But we've
Wait a minute.
rebuilt our
Obamacare.
military. The job that we've done, and I'll tell you something, some people
You
say
probably
maybe the
won't
most
care.
important. By the end of
Then
the first term,
I
I'll
don't
have
know at this
approximately
point.
300
There should
federal
just be
judges and
free
Court of Appeals
health.
judges,
Like, that
300,
shouldn't be like
and
that.
hopefully
Yeah, but then
3
again,
great
taxes.
Supreme Court judges, justices. That is a
Like, that should just be
record,
constitutional
the likes
that
of
healthcare
which
is
very few
free.
people, and you know one of the
Dude, do we
reasons I'll
look
have
like
so many
Canada did?
judges?
No.
Because President Obama
I mean,
and
better
him
health
left me
insurance would get
128
better.
And free tuition, too.
Yeah,
judges.
but
to
like,
fill. When you leave
basic
office,
health
you don't
insurance
leave
should be
any
free.
judges. That's
Dude, I
it.
wish
You
this
just
was
don't
on
do that.
Twitch.
They left
So, like,
128
you
openings.
can get like a
and
moderator
I
like,
remember
yo,
of his
thank
party
you, big
because they
big
have a
nuts
little
for
different
the.
Say, if you left,
Yo, isn't it strange how the country wants us to...
Thank you, I swallow cum for the $4.
But I want to thank you because it gives us almost.
Will, I'm kind of streaming here, and you're kind of just
Yo, you
not...
gave this with the 1,000 bits?
300 judges. It's a record.
Looking at both your records, why
Thank you, Donald J. Dump.
Thank you, Alexa. Tell me my location.
uninterrupted.
Under this president, we become weaker.
Wait, did you watch Two Man Sleep live stream where somebody actually did that to him?
Yeah.
It's so funny, dude.
Vice president, we inherited a recession. I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy.
He said
bloom.
fix it. I did that. That's what I did.
With regard to
My son
being
takes
weaker,
money.
the fact is
Yeah,
that
my
I've
son
gone
uses money.
head to head with Putin.
He takes
and made it
Putin.
clear we're not going to take any of his stuff. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to
Putin,
even say
fucking
anything to
mon.
Putin about the bounty on the heads of
Right.
American soldiers.
Guy who
No, no,
died
no.
almost, I don't know, 100
And by
years
the
ago.
way,
Mr.
my
President,
son,
wait a minute.
Putin?
President, your campaign agreed
Literally Putin.
Both sides would get 2
There's a
minute
Russian trophy.
answers
More like
uninterrupted. Well, your
Putin's
side agreed
Putin
with
be
you,
like, yeah,
and
I'ma have 4 more years of
the
term.
campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
He never keeps his word. Can you add back
No, I'm not asking. That was a rhetorical
Nintendo
question.
Switch.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Nintendo. So is this a so is this a debate against Trump and Biden, or the Trump and the announcer? Or
Yeah,
This is
it's
more of a
Trump and the moderator.
Yeah.
$400 billion more just since COVID. You and the
Biden like
whole
always
guys-
looks like he's like on his last
You can't
grip of
bring
life.
In terms of
COVID in the
being
mention
more
of
violent. When
the
we were in office, there were
economy.
15% less violence in America than there is today. He's president of the United
Yeah.
States.
I would
It's
be
on
too.
his watch. And with regard to more divided, the nation can't
Trump
stay
sucks,
divided.
what
It
about?
can't be the same. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military,
Hey, vote out
the way you
Orange.
talk about them being losers
saw
and
him
being and just being suckers. My
I saw
son
Orange vent.
was in
He
Iraq.
takes money.
Spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser.
How much did he pay for
was
it?
a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent like hell.
Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're
I
talking
don't
about
Bo Biden?
Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know
got
Bo
thrown-
Biden.
Hunter got
Bo
thrown
Biden.
out
Bo
of the
Mama.
military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine
Is he
use,
making fun of
and
his
he
son right
didn't have
now?
a job until you became vice
don't know.
president.
Why are you
Once
talking
got
about his
vice
son? Come on
president,
now, don't
he
bring
made
him
a
into this.
fortune in Ukraine,
That's
in
fucked
China,
up.
in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
He
My
made a
son.
fortune.
That is
and
not
my
true.
son-
No, why is he bringing his son into this? This doesn't.
My son makes money.
like
It's
a lot
not
of
true.
people you know
Stop.
at home, had a
Why is he
drug
bringing
problem.
his family into this? That's like saying, "Ha, you cheated on every wife you've had,
Piece of
clown."
shit.
And I'm proud of it. But
Keep
what
that in your
about
head.
my son?
Tens of millions
All
of
right, if he
dollars.
wasn't given
Right.
10
I'd
million
spend if I
that
could.
is totally, totally.
Nah, that's like
Makes money.
that's like Biden saying, "Ha, nice 5 wives you
He
have
makes
there,
money.
buddy."
I'd get rid of him if I could.
More substantial
So do I.
subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make
I know,
a
but when
judgment call
somebody
here.
gets $3.5 million
Okay, right.
from the
Let's
mayor
talk
of
about-
Moscow,
let's talk
That is
about-
not
I think
true.
it's a
Gentlemen,
That
terrible thing.
report is totally
Why did he get
discredited.
it?
I
Mitt
think,
Romney on that committee said it wasn't worth taxpayers'
Gen-
money, that report. It was written for political reasons.
you know, I'd like to talk about climate change.
So would I.
No,
Okay.
no, please.
Forest fires in the West are raging
not
now.
real.
They have burned millions of acres.
Joe Biden's like,
They
"It's not
have
real."
Displaced
And-
hundreds of thousands of people. When state officials there
I'm waiting for Joe Biden just to get tired and be like, "It's not real. Doesn't exist."
The science knows. Over your 4 years, you have pulled the U.S.
Science is
out of
fake.
the Paris
How long is
Climate
this political debate
Accord.
supposed to be?
You have rolled back a number of Obama environmental records. What do you believe about the science of climate change?
How long is the presidential debate? It's already.
4 years to confront it.
I want
Nothing.
crystal clean water and air. I want beautiful, clean air. We have now the lowest carbon. If you look at our numbers right now.
Yeah, maybe compared to Japan, that's about
We
it.
have air filters.
But I haven't destroyed our businesses. Our businesses aren't put out of commission. If you look at the Paris Accord, it was a disaster from our standpoint. And people are actually very happy about what's going on because our businesses are doing well. As far as the fires are concerned, you need forest management in addition to everything else. The forest floors
It's
are
not our
loaded
fault.
up with
It's
trees,
yours.
dead trees,
Exactly.
years old, and
Yeah,
they're
it's giving people jobs.
and
The fire's good.
leaves and everything else. You drop a cigarette
Take
in there,
care
the
of
whole
your
forest
trees.
burns down. You've got to have forest management.
What do you
You've got to have
believe?
cuts.
What do you believe about the science of climate change?
What's
I
climate
believe
change?
that we have to do everything we can to have immaculate
I thought he was-
air,
I genuinely thought he was
immaculate
about to say
water,
it
and do
wasn't real.
whatever else we
It
can.
wasn't
We're
real.
planting 1 billion trees, the Billion Tree Project, and it's very exciting.
Story on
that-
September 11th.
Pollution, greenhouse gas emissions contributes to the global warming of the
I think
planet?
a lot of things do, but I think to an extent, yes. I think to an extent, yes. But I also think we have to do better management of our forests. Every year, I get the call, California's burning. California's burning. If that was clean, if that
'Cause
were,
it was never
if
put
you had
out.
forest management, good forest management, you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
we're
getting
gonna
those
go.
calls.
We're gonna
You know, in
go
Europe, they
monitor
live
the
their
entire.
forest cities.
I don't
They
know.
call forest cities.
How many acres
They
of forest do you
maintain
think
their forests. They manage
can't
their forests.
California has?
I was
Don't
with
fact
the head
checking
of
the
a major country.
debate already.
It's a forest city. He said, sir, we have trees that are far more, they ignite much easier than California. There shouldn't be that problem. I spoke with the governor about it. I'm getting along very well with the governor. But I said, you know, at some point, you can't every year have hundreds of thousands of acres of land just burned to the ground. That's burning down because of a lack of
But sir, if you believe in the science of climate change, why have you rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan, which limited carbon emissions in power plants? Why have you relaxed?
Because it was driving energy prices through the sky.
Why have you relaxed fuel economy standards that are going to create more pollution from cars
Well,
and
not
trucks?
really, because what's happening is the car is much less expensive and it's a much safer car, and you're talking about a tiny difference. And then what would happen, because of the cost of the car, you would have at least double and triple the number of cars purchased. We have the old slugs out there that are 10, 12 years old. If you did that, the car would be safer. It would be much cheaper by
But in the case
$3,500.
of California, they simply ignore.
Yo, can we talk about how Trump wants to moderate 33 million acres of forest in California?
By the way, we're going to see how that turns out. But a lot of people agree with me.
Like, how are we supposed to moderate 33 million acres of forest at all times? Explain.
At each other.
Hey, I just finished my Rocket League thumbnail doing
I'm all for electric cars. I've given big
I literally can't because I'm streaming and I'm too afraid if I click out of the stream, I'm gonna watch see some, you know, Thanos balls.
Vice President Biden, I'd like you to respond to the president's climate change record, but I also want to ask you about a concern. You proposed $2
Let me
trillion
check if my stream got
He's
taken
in
down.
You talk about new limits, not abolishing, but new limits on fracking, ending the use of fossil fuels to generate electricity by 2035, and zero net emission of greenhouse gases.
Oh, the new Pokemon DLC is coming out soon. I didn't ask, but it's coming out.
Tank the economy and cost millions of jobs.
He's absolutely wrong, number one.
He's absolutely wrong.
If in fact, during our administration, the Recovery Act,
There's new stuff in the Google live stream thing.
down the cost of renewable energy.
Alright,
Cheaper
I
than
actually need to
cheap
know,
as
is this look good or
coal
not?
And gas. Nobody's going to build another coal-fired plant in America. No one's going to build another oil-fired plant in America.
So if I click escape out of this debate, will I open up to a hentai tab?
I don't know what chat you're in.
I'm in your general.
That's
generic, but it looks good.
Vehicles. Making sure that we can do that, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations.
By the way, Ryan, I'm changing my background of Zoom to the black dude with the lotion bottle.
In fact, is going to provide for the ability us to take 4 million buildings and make sure that they in fact are weatherized in a way that in fact will make significantly less gas and oil.
Okay, Joe Biden, you're not even getting me views anymore. I don't care.
We can do now to create thousands and thousands of jobs. We can get to net zero in terms of energy production by 2035. Not only not costing people jobs, creating jobs. Creating millions.
Hey, did I miss something about like Trump, like denying the fact or like changing subjects about like Nazis?
No, that was never a thing, right?
Why Nazis though, Mac? Why Nazis?
Someone was like posting on their Snapchat story and they're like, no, Trump was asked if like he condemns the Nazis and he changed the subject.
No, that was not even close to what was asked.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, when they were talking about no, he was talking about like you can condemn the right, like we brought up like what do I call them? And they said white supremacists or KKK.
One of my tennis guys were like,
You're listening to a tennis player, Mac. That's your first problem.
No,
I never heard Nazi.
Stop.
Because it never was said.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say.
Then you're going to have
call him retarded.
I'm going to call him retarded tomorrow. Let's go.
President Trump basically says that you have to balance.
We'll give them money and then they stop dropping down. That's how it works.
Shut up, monarchist. I don't care. I'm joking.
He still, for example, make sure that he wants to make sure that methane's not a problem. You can now emit more methane without it being a problem. Methane. This is a guy who says that you don't have to have mileage standards for automobiles that exist now. This is the guy who says that, well, the fact is, it's all true. And here's the deal.
He's talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion or $20 billion, as you said. It's $100 trillion.
I'm talking about
where they want to rip down
Ryan, where'd you put your thumbnail?
and rebuild the building.
No,
it's the dumbest, most ridiculous. Where airplanes are out of business, where two-car systems are out, where they want to take out the cows too. You know, that's not true either, right? This is a 100 trillion. That's more money than our country could make in 100 years if we're going to the case.
All right, let me because I actually wait a minute, sir. I actually have studied your plan, And it includes upgrading 4 million buildings, weatherizing 2 million homes over 4 years, building 1.5 million energy-efficient homes. So the question becomes, the president is saying, I think some people who support the president would say that sounds like it's going to cost a lot of money and hurt the economy.
What it's going to do is going to create thousands and millions of jobs, good paying jobs.
Let him finish, sir.
He doesn't know how to do that. The fact is, it's going to create millions of good paying jobs.
The guy who
These
has a
tax
billion-dollar
incentives
company
for
doesn't know how to do
people
that.
to
Okay.
weatherize, which he wants to get
just-
rid of. It's going to make the economy much safer. Look how much we're paying now to deal with the hurricanes. By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that. He made it up.
And here's
It
the
sounds like
thing.
something he would say, though.
We are going to be in a position where we can create hard, good jobs by making sure the environment is clean and we all are in better shape. We spend billions of dollars now, on floods, hurricanes, rising seas. We're in real trouble. Look what's happened just in the Midwest with these storms that come through and wipe out entire sections and counties in Iowa. That didn't happen before. They're because of global warming. We make up 15% of the world's problem. We, in fact, but the rest of the world, we've got to get them to come along. That's why we have to get back into the Paris Accord.
All right, gentlemen,
Wait a minute, Chris. So why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. Why didn't you get the world? China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. They all do. It's supposed to be good. And by the way, statements. The Green New Deal is $100 trillion.
That is
not
not
20
my
billion.
plan.
That's
The Green
you
New
want to
Deal
rebuild every
is not
building.
my plan.
I want to
All
rebuild
right.
every.
If he knew anything about, if he knew
Gentlemen,
He
anything
made a
about,
statement about the military. He said I said something about the military. He and his friends made it up, and then they went with it. I never said it.
Okay.
That is
What
not
he
true.
did is he
You're done in
said
this segment.
he called
Mr.
the
Vice-
military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
Whoa! He's molding.
Stupid bastards. He
Sir,
said it.
stop.
I would never
I
say
would
that.
Play it.
Stop.
Play it.
Go ahead.
You're
Mr.
on
Vice
tape.
President answered his
Dude,
final
Trump's
question.
just not having. He's not having a good day.
Who?
He's like, bro, stop. We're on air.
And about the economy.
Why is he molding this bad? Just stop being angry. It's not that
The
hard.
Green New Deal and the idea of what your
Dude, the
environmental
poor
change
moderator,
is.
man.
Green New Deal.
Like, he's just there to ask questions, and now he's, like, more debating than, like, the actual two people.
Our great polluting plants.
But do you
We're going to
support
build.
the Green New Deal?
Pardon me?
Do you support
No, I don't support the Green New
Oh,
Deal.
you don't? Oh, well, that's a
You
big
let-
statement.
I
What?
That
support
means
the
you just
Biden.
lost the radical left.
I support
The radical left?
the Biden plan that I put forward.
Okay.
The Biden plan, which
He
is
said he didn't
different
stand with the
than
what?
what he calls the,
The,
radical Green New Deal.
All right, gentlemen, final segment.
The what? I
Election
couldn't hear it.
integrity. We meet tonight. Millions of Americans are receiving mail-in ballots or going to vote early. How confident should we be that this will be a fair election, and what are you prepared to do over the next 5+ weeks, because it'll not only be to Election Day, but also counting some ballots, mail-in ballots after Election Day. What are you prepared to do to reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election? In this final segment, Mr. Vice President, you go first.
Prepared to let people vote. They should go to iwillvote.com.
iwillvote.com.
When they're going to vote. and what it means by which
iwillvote.com.
they're going to vote. His own
Did he say I will vote or Iowa vote?
as well as the other candidates, there was no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating.
I can't wait
They
to
said
vote.
that.
Camp's
The
about to
fact
go
is
off,
that
let me
there are
tell
going to
you.
be millions of people
He
because
is,
of
dude.
COVID
He's
that are going to
fucking
be
nuts.
voting by mail-in
Dude, I
ballots.
can't wait to be in Mr. Hoffman's class, and Cam just, like, doesn't let anybody talk for the rest of the class.
Number one. Number two, we're going to make sure that those people who want to vote in person are able to vote because enough poll watchers are there to make sure they can socially distance. The polls are open on time, and the polls stay open until the votes are counted. And this is all about trying to dissuade people from voting because he's trying to scare people into thinking that it's not going to be legitimate. Show up and vote. You
That was me,
will determine
stupid.
the outcome of this election. Vote,
You could hear him
vote,
breathing
vote.
out of his nose.
If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able
Bro,
to vote
Biden needs
in
to vote his
person,
nose,
vote in
man.
person, vote
Blow your
whatever
fucking
way
nose,
is the
bro.
best way for you. Because he cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election. And in terms of whether or not, when the votes are counted and they're all counted, that will be accepted. If I win, that will be accepted. If I lose, that'll be accepted. But by the way, if in fact he says he's not sure what he's going to accept, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter, because if we get the votes, it's going to be all over. He's going to go. He can't stay in power. It won't happen. It won't happen. So vote. Just make sure you understand you have it in your control to determine what this country's going to look like the next 4 years.
I was about to text my boss. Trump's kind of clowning on on Biden.
Mr. President, 2 minutes.
So, when I listened to Joe talking about a transition, there's been no transition from when I won. I won that election. And if you look at Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition, because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won, and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our First Lady. They were a disaster. They were a disgrace to our country. And we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against
I didn't know what
General
he
Flynn.
said. I just said
You
true.
better take a look at that.
True.
You, in a sense, and President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition. As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing,
Hey, do we care?
It's nice on November 3rd. You're watching and you see who won the
I
election.
mean,
And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done.
It's
I'm-
literally because his son makes
We
money.
might not know for months.
Son does
Because
make
these
money.
ballots are gonna be
I
all
hate
over.
that
Take a
excuse.
look at
Yeah,
what
but my
happened
son
in
makes money.
Manhattan. Take a look at what
True,
happened
he
in
does.
New
Your
Jersey.
son
Take a
will
look at what
take
happened
money.
in Virginia and other places. They're not losing
Dad's a
2%,
virgin.
1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's the fraud.
The
And
fraud.
It's a shame. And can you imagine where they say you have to have your ballot in by November 10th? November 10th. That means that's 7 days after the election, in theory, should have been announced.
Okay.
We have major states with that,
Sir,
all run by
2 minutes
Democrats.
is 2 minutes.
Oh
All
boy.
run by Democrats.
2 minutes is 2
President
minutes.
It's a rigged election.
You're going to be able to continue.
Oh dear.
You have been charging for months
dear.
that mail-in balloting is going to be a disaster. You say it's rigged, that it's going to lead to fraud.
Oh
But in
my
2018,
God.
in the last
Watch him win and say all of it was true.
1 million people voted mail-in voting. That was a quarter, more than a quarter of all the voters that year cast their ballots by mail. Now that millions of mail-in ballots have gone out, what are you going to do about it? And are you counting on the Supreme Court, including a Justice Barrett, to settle any dispute?
Yeah, I think I'm counting on them to look at the ballots, definitely. I hope we don't need them in terms of the election itself. But for the ballots, I think so. Because what's happening is incredible. I read today, where at least 1% of the ballots for 2016 were invalidated. They take them, we don't like them, we don't like them.
But
They
what are you
throw
going to
them
do
out
about it?
left
If there
and
are
right.
millions of ballots going out
What
right
you
now,
do
what
is
are
you
you
go
gonna
and
do?
vote. You do a solicited ballot,
No,
and
I'm
that's
not-
okay,
I know
or
your
you go and
complaint.
vote.
I'm asking you about the fact that millions of people
You go
have
and
received-
vote. You go and
No,
vote
but what
like
I'm
they
saying is that what are you gonna do
used
about
to
the
in
fact
the
that
old.
millions of people.
You either do, Chris, a solicited ballot where you're sending it in, they're sending it back, and you're sending. They have mailmen with lots of it. Did you see what's going on? Take a look at West Virginia. Mailmen selling the ballots. They're being sold. They're being dumped in rivers. This is a horrible thing for our country. This is not
evidence
going
of
to
that.
end well.
This man started watching JoJo.
President
Five
Biden.
states
Mid-debate.
had mail-in ballots for
Just watching the
last
little feet versus
decade or more,
Rancho.
5, including 2 Republican states. And you don't have to solicit the ballot; it's sent to you. It's
Actually.
sent to your home. What they're saying is that it has to be a postmark by election day. If it doesn't get in until the 7th, 8th, 9th, it still should be counted. He's just afraid of counting the votes.
I want to continue with you on
I
this,
love
Vice
that.
President Biden.
Chris, he's so wrong when he makes
in
a
fact,
statement
no,
like that.
excuse me. Vice President Biden, the biggest problem, in fact, over the years with mail-in voting has not been fraud historically. It has been that sizable numbers, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown
Muslim
out
girls be
because
so
they
fine.
have
Then
not been
boom.
properly filled out, or there is some other irregularity, or they
It's
missed the
hilarious.
deadline. So the question I have is, are you concerned that the Supreme Court, with a Justice Barrett, will settle any dispute?
I'm concerned that any court would settle this because here's the deal. When you get a ballot and you fill it out, you're supposed to have an affidavit. If you didn't know, you have someone say that this is me. You should be able to, if in fact you can verify that's you before the ballot is thrown out, that's sufficient to be able to count the ballot because someone made a mistake and not dotting the correct I. Who they voted for, testify, say who they voted for, say it's you, that is totally legitimate.
All right.
Excuse me,
No.
you
I
have
have a final, gentlemen, and the final question is, in 8 states, we can keep talking. In 8 states, election workers are prohibited, currently by law, 8 states, from even beginning to process ballots, even take them out of the envelopes and flatten them until Election Day. That means that it's likely, because there's going to be a huge increase in mail-in balloting, that we are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks,
could be months,
until we find out who the new president is. So first for you, sir, finally for the vice president, I hope neither of you will interrupt the other. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm during this extended period, not to engage in any civil unrest, and will you pledge tonight that you will not declare victory until the election has been independently certified? President Trump, you go first.
I'm urging my supporters to go into the polls and watch very carefully, because that's what has to happen. I am urging them to do it. As you know, today there was a big problem. In Philadelphia, they went in to watch. They're called poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia, bad things. And I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell you what, from a common sense,
does that mean
I'll
you're
tell you what it means. It means you have a fraudulent election. You're sending out 80 million ballots. They're not
equipped. It seemed like Chris Wallace was kind of arguing on
Number one.
Biden.
Number two, they cheat.
You just vote for Chris already.
They found
Can you vote for who?
in a waste paper basket
The moderator.
3 days ago.
Yeah, true.
They all had the name Trump on them.
He just completely ignored Trump.
You think that's good?
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes. Here's the deal. They count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened
already said that they're going to riot.
And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it. And by the way, our military, they've been voting by ballots since the end of the Civil War, in effect. And that's what's going to happen. Why is it for them somehow not fraudulent? It's the same process. It's honest. No one has established at all that there is fraud related to mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
You had an opportunity to respond.
Look at Carolyn Maloney.
Go ahead.
They have no idea what happened.
Vice President Biden, go ahead.
He has no idea what he's talking about. Here's the deal. The fact is, I will accept it, and he will too. You know why? Because once the winner is declared, after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome. And I'll be a president not just for the Democrats.
Didn't Hillary tell Biden not to
and Republicans. And this guy,
I want to see honest ballot count.
Gentlemen, you say that's the end of it? This is the end of this debate?
Honest ballot count.
We're going to leave it there. To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half. I want to thank you both for participating in the first of 3 debates that you have agreed to engage in. We want to thank Case Western Reserve University and the Cleveland Clinic for hosting this event. The next debate, sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates, will be 1 week from tomorrow, October 7th, at the University of Utah. In Salt Lake City, the two vice presidential nominees, Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, will debate
You
at 9
fake
p.m.
Cloud9
Eastern that
virgin,
night. We
shut
hope
up.
you watch. Until then, thank
Sorry,
you
I'm playing CSGO.
and good night.
You should get Shroud to be president.
Alright guys, and that's the end of our live
this
stream. I
dude-
hope you
this
guys
dude
have
has
enjoyed.
a-
Please leave a like and subscribe on this video. See you guys later.
In front of his
Peace out.
name and then has the Cloud9 logo as his profile picture.
You know what we should do?
You're cheating.
I gotta get off and go to bed.
They should, Shroud should make going to the presidency.
We'll see you later.
See ya.
Going to the